All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Market Close. It has been a while since we've been able to say that. It is 3:45. I am here. I am on time. Thank you all for being here as well. Markets have been interesting today, and we've got a lot to talk about to get into it. We will be having Technical Tuesday. So in about 30 minutes, we will have Jason come on and go through a bunch of TA in terms of what's happening. But this is a disgusting close as we get into the end of the day. We had a pretty ugly market open, as everyone saw. It was red. And, Micron fell below 900, and you had all the semiconductor names get hit pretty bad. Some of the hyperscalers held up okay. Meta, we had a big announcement in the middle of the day, which is why Meta got that rebound, although that rebound is fading. Even though the market open was really ugly, we did get a pretty decent reversal in the middle of the day. It didn't erase all of the red that we saw. So, for example, NBIS went from, I think, 210 to 195, and then it bounced up all the way back to 206, which is not, completely reversing the red from the morning, but it's getting pretty damn close. And then we went right back down to 197. Same thing here with Micron. It did not go below 900 right here, but still got right back to 907, now up to 919. Again, not below the 900 level, but it was at 940, which was the second bounce that it made. The first bounce was at 927. This was during the market open, then fell all the way back down. Second bounce was 940. This was a couple hours later, and now we're back at 920. So it was a pretty fake reversal across the entire board for every single semiconductor stock. But then even the stocks that aren't part of the semis that had some really good momentum, like a Robinhood that got all the way up to 118, right back down to 113. Palantir was making a move for 140, really tried to go for it, got topped out at 138.90. Now it's back to 134. Still a good move on Palantir, but obviously it made a really nice move from 130 to 138. And now getting hit. NVDA did end up going green. NVIDIA was red for the majority of the day, got all the way up to 198. Now we're down at 196. So again, a lot of these names just took a reversal in the morning, got rejected, took a reversal in the afternoon, got rejected, and now they're closing pretty red. Not as red as they were at the absolute lows of the day, but many of them still getting hit pretty badly. Cerebras, that's down about 7%. SpaceX getting added into the NASDAQ 100, did not go below 150, but that's down 6.2%. Got Marvell, that's down 8%. RIVN, after that offering of $1.4 billion of dilution, that is also down 17%. Corning took a nasty beating as well, down about 5%. This was actually relatively calm compared to some of the other semi names, although given Corning was pushing 270 a couple of days ago, seeing this thing get beat up is not the most fun. T1 Energy, I don't know what the news is on solar. In fact, there were some really bullish solar headlines last week, and none of that was enough to get this thing to pump. T1 right there down 19%, along with all the other solar names that are getting hit. AMD right here down 7.5%. So why did we get the reversal for the reversal, which ended up being a close that is more likely than not going to be a bit red? There is one reason for it. And the reason is similar to what we talked about in the morning, although now we have an official headline on it. In the morning, it was Iran is striking different vessels, and obviously that was not good to see. In the afternoon, the United States is revoking a general license that authorized the sale of Iranian oil, a U.S. official said, warning that Iran's actions in the Strait of Hormuz were wholly unacceptable and would be met with consequences after attacks on tankers in the strategic waterway. So you could blame the algos. That kind of take semis up and down, but realistically, and the reason I think it is actually this, take a look at oil right here. It's up 5%, which, look, 72 is way better than 95 from a couple weeks ago, but still 72. We were pushing below 67 a couple days ago. That's a pretty hefty move on oil, which obviously will likely impact the equity market. So the 21-day waiver that the U.S. and Iran signed a few weeks ago, permitting Iran to sell oil denominated in US dollars to various different nations, that's been reversed. That general license has been revoked based on the attacks they did today on the 3 vessels, one of those vessels being a Qatari LNG vessel. And as a result of that, yeah, we are once again going red. So it's annoying to see. It's definitely not fun. I did buy CRWV today, bought it on the market open at 82.17. It was looking like a good buy for like 2 hours, got all the way up to 85. And now we're at 83.28. A couple minutes goes back at 81.50. So, I mean, I think this is going to be choppy. I think this is going to be very choppy. I don't know if you can say the dip buys today are going to be proven to be good dip buys over the coming hours or even coming days, because I just think there's a lot of chop that we have to deal with. Amazon right there, 245. We'll talk about the meta news in a second. Netflix at 76. Even the hyperscalers, they were going pretty green even while the S&P was falling. And the semis were getting the brunt of the pain, but then the hyperscalers started falling as the S&P 500 right there, getting a little bit of a bounce from 746, but still down 0.5% on the day, which is not the best thing to see, given those were part of the big tech companies that were holding up the index. SanDisk, that's down 7%. GE Vernova, that's down 7%. Bloom Energy, that's down 10%. SMH, as the index, is down 4.5%. Grab did get close to that $4 range, could not get above it, $3.90. Again, bad oil news, it got to $3.98. Not the best for the international stocks, but Grab right there, $3.90, actually holding on to some of that green for the day. Again, Rocket Lab, a lot of people asking why this one is down. It did bump up to 86, but now back down to 83. Peter Beck filed to sell about 10% of his shares, 5 million shares. So I think that in and of itself, along with the SpaceX, NASDAQ, sell the news event, is kind of hurting all the space stocks, ASTS as well, down 7.2%. Now, Meta did get a rebound from 605 to almost 625? 625.37 about an hour ago, and that is because Meta, once again, is not slowing down in the AI race. Now, it's really interesting what Meta put out right here. So Meta put out Muse Image Spark, which is their latest image model. Alexander Wang says the first image generation model from MSL, which is Meta Superintelligence, it's agentic. It pairs with Muse Spark to reason through your prompt, search the web, and plan before it generates. People get what they meant on the first try. It's multi-turn editing. There's multi-reference composition. There's self-refinement. So they're basically saying this is one of the best image models that's out there. Bearish and bullish take. Bearish, we already have a bunch of image models. I mean, do we really need another one? One could argue yes. The question then becomes, is this so much better than Nano Banana and all the other image models that are out there? If it is, then it deserves to get all the credit. But I wonder how much people really care about having a model for images that's that much better coming from Meta. And again, you know, Meta has 4 billion users, so if they can get you to make images, there's a lot of different ways they can interact with Instagram, which is a photo sharing, image sharing website at the end of the day. And so there's a lot of synergies here, but you know, how many people are really going to use this, and is this going to be that much better than the other image generation platforms that are out there? Number two is you actually had a Meta spokesperson come out and qualify or clarify some of the statements that they made last week that kind of screwed up all the neoclouds. This is from Reuters right here. Despite these efforts, Meta is still hungry for even more computing power, the spokesperson said. It is still moving forward with plans for expensive new data centers and recently linked major computing deals with CoreWeave, Alphabet's Google, Oracle, among others. So a Meta spokesperson told Reuters that we are still hungry for even more computing power, likely because they want to get the market to not think that they are in some excess compute reality. A, because that's horrible for the AI trade, which is going to be horrible for Meta, horrible for sort of the narrative around AI. B, it means that Zucks didn't know what the hell he was doing when he was spending all that capex. And, you know, I don't think Zucks wants to be seen as the guy who spent 140, or at this point, $350 billion over the past couple of years with no plan for it. Granted, he kind of already did that with the metaverse. And I mean, it's kind of been forgiven if you look at Meta stock performance since 2022, but not sure if he can easily get away with losing this much money when it comes to the AI models. So that's what spiked up Meta from from 605 up to 625. But as you can see, Meta also selling off right here at 617 from those highs. Now, none of the hyperscalers were safe. None of them were safe. Google was at 372 and now it's at 367. So this one basically being flat on the day as well. We will look at Peng earnings. This is we talked about this company a couple weeks ago. This stock down 8% as well, getting hit with all the memory names. This is in the memory space. It's not a memory stock, but there's elements of memory towards it. You got a couple of the sell side analysts that have a $75 and $80 target on this. So we will take a look at their earnings and see what they put out. It's a small company, not that large, $3 billion. It's just kind of a crappy day to put out any type of earnings, but you know, maybe sentiment is bottomed enough where you put out a good earnings after the bell and you know, your stock can go up. Qualcomm, that's down 3%. Marvell down 8%. Fuel Cell down 12.6%. And then SoFi, which was pushing 19 yesterday, that is down 4.6. The Qs, again, just the ugly, ugly close. They were actually reversing around 2 p.m. And then they went 2%. What also reversed during the day and ended up completing the reversal was that freaking Argentina game. I mean, this was incredible. And it's funny because in the morning, I said the Portugal-Spain game was so boring and it's like it was hard to watch soccer. This was the opposite of boring. Argentina was down 2-0 with less than 20 minutes left. And they reversed and they came back. I mean, this got freaking Tom Brady to say that might top the 28-3 comeback that he had against the Atlanta Falcons back in 2017 in the Super Bowl. That was special. That was special. I posted about it on X. I don't know how many people think the World Cup is rigged. And I mean, there was just so many comments saying FIFA loves Argentina. They love Messi. They rigged the game for him to win. Well, they had a hell of a script because down 2-0 with less than 12 minutes left for them to score 3 in a row. That is a hell of a script from the FIFA World Cup script writers to make this an exciting game. And whether it was rigged or not, I don't know. I kind of don't care because that was an exciting game. And I think Messi's got to go all the way, right? I think if you come back from that type of a downside, I was a downside move, that much of a deficit in a game like that with 20 minutes left, you have to go all the way. So still got Messi in the World Cup and in contention. Corey right there, that's not about 3%. NVIDIA looking like that might flip red as we got 4 minutes left. Hopefully it could stay a bit green, but you're seeing that momentum just completely start to die out right now. There's so many of you that are saying it's rigged. I mean, maybe it is. I don't know. I don't keep up with soccer enough to know if they rigged it. There was a penalty call that looked like it should have been called as a penalty, but I don't know. I just know it would be less exciting to watch the World Cup if Messi wasn't in it. So I guess it is more exciting now that he's in. IREN down 8%. Put in the chat if you bought anything today. I bought CRWV, but that's it today. Put in the chat if you bought anything. SOFI was having a good day. A lot of them flipping green or closing green, but ServiceNow was pushing 112 and now it's at 110. So even the software names, Palantir 138 to 135, they couldn't withstand the Iran news, which, again, if we're going to spike oil up 5%, we're obviously going to have every stock that is associated with the volatility of oil, which is pretty much every stock in the market, start to get hit. And that's what happened to a lot of those names. CrowdStrike did a 4-for-1 split, 700 down to 200, 194. That's down 2.3%. Twilio, that's flat. ServiceNow up 2.3. Even Adobe, that was pushing 230. Now it's at 221. So it'll close green. It was just way more green before the Iran news. I see a bunch of Microns. I see some CRWVs. I see some NBISs. I see SpaceX. Interesting. Again, Raymond James. Wow. Loses 150 right there. Raymond James gave them an $800 target today. 11 trillion market cap in a year. I mean, if it's worth double NVIDIA in a year, then you got to tip the hat to anyone who bought it. But you do have some rather exciting price targets on this name. SpaceX right there down about 6.4% on the day of its NASDAQ inclusion. Zoe says France will do Argentina again in a rematch. France is still in, right? The World Cup? I mean, that would be crazy for it to be a full rematch. So Messi now is in the quarterfinals, and he will face the winner of Switzerland and Colombia. And France is facing Morocco on Thursday. All right. We are going to see bought more DRAM, bought more Oracle. Again, Oracle, I think this one is getting really disrespected here, but nonetheless, it is it's just an ugly close, dude. And ugly closes after these reversals tend to be a bit more bearish going into the next day. Granted, every dip we've had of this magnitude has been bought throughout the past 2 months. So if it happens, it happens, but it doesn't feel the most bullish as we get into the close. I mean, really towards the middle of the day, I was like, okay, dip buyer stepped in. And then right at that moment, you had a ugly Iran headline come out. The problem with this Iran headline is now that the U.S. has revoked the general sale of oil from Iran, there needs to be another remediation or negotiation to be able to get them to sell oil to then be able to make sure the ceasefire is in place, which we have 60 days for the ceasefire to go through. And if not, then, do we get back into the same nonsense headlines about the U.S. and Iran going back and forth? Amazon also launched their $25 billion bond offering today. So that put a little bit of weakness on Amazon as it's basically flat on the day, but it was pushing almost 250 earlier in the morning. Let's be honest, Mint knows nothing about football. You are correct. I just found out about that Netherlands dude, Holland or whatever. That guy's pretty, he's pretty special as well. So I'm learning about all these new players, but I am not an expert on football. Look at that. I missed the closing bell because you guys got me talking about football. This is why I need to stay in my lane with the stock market. Here we go. Tuesday, July 7th, 4 p.m. The stock market is now closed. Oh, he's from Norway? Oopsie. See, I don't know. I don't know this. This is the first time I saw this guy ever. Like, I mean, he looked pretty cool. I was like, damn, he looks like he knows how to play football. Norway, whatever, not the Netherlands. The point is, I need to focus on stocks. I need to stop talking about soccer, bro. I'm over here missing the bell, saying a different country for these guys. Anyway, markets are closed. Ugly day. Quite frankly, the ugliness of today was foretold in the pre-markets. It looked like it was going to be ugly, and it ended up being ugly. It almost didn't towards the middle of the day, but then some of these headlines that came, I mean, even Robinhood, they took her below 113. It was pushing 118.50 2 hours ago, So a lot of this stuff just ended up reversing. Reddit ended up down 1% on the day. Aero Environment down 8% on the day. Ondas down 6% on the day. CoreWeave down 3.3% on the day. Nebius, did we close below 200? We did indeed close below 200, 195.19. That is also down about 8.3% on the day. Grab was up about 2%. S&P 500 was down 0.5%. NVDA closed just above 196, 0.71% up on the day, although that was down from 198.50, up from 191 in the pre-market. Qualcomm, that was down 2%. Broadcom, that was down 1%. And then ARM, another ugly one, that was also down 6.7%. Okay, Pang, I do not have their numbers yet. I know this one has earnings. It spiked up right at the close to 63.94. Now it's at 62.43. I think this thing was 75, if I'm not wrong, last week. We had $14 million of puts on the S&P that were bought right into the close. So you had some pretty bearish put option flow coming right there in the final second. 62.28. I do not have the Peng numbers. Once I get it, we will see. But as of now, we are waiting. Tesla 402. Wow, this stock also was 420 in the morning. Same like every other stock, including the hyperscalers. Even Apple tried to hold on today, 310. It was at 315. So this one also went red. Now it's above the 270 range where it was at last week after the price hike news. But a lot of those levels just weren't able to be reclaimed, even though they were going for it. GE Vernova, that was also down about 6.4% as well. SpaceX did close below that IPO offering price. Wow, you're right about that. Yeah. This is the first close below 150. Well, technically 135 is the price. It opened at 150 3 weeks ago. It always happens. Even CoreWeave and Nebius also got dumped on NASDAQ inclusion day. So did Rocket Lab. So, I mean, it feels like NASDAQ inclusion just ends up being a, honestly, what it feels like, it ends up being a sell the news so that the institutions can buy at a better price, and whatever the algos do to get these stocks to come down before that surge of buying comes in, which doesn't necessarily guarantee that the stock will go higher. It feels like that happened for a lot of the names that got into the NASDAQ over the past 2 weeks. Qualcomm right there, that one also down 2%. Okay, Peng, do we have the numbers? I do not have any numbers. But it is still down. We have an advisor to Iran Supreme Leader who said it is quite clear that the U.S. will lead the negotiations to failure. The Iranian official says it is evident that the U.S. will cause negotiations to once again collapse. I don't know, guys. Are we really doing this again? Are we really going down heavily because of Iran? Because, look, I think the reversal of the reversal at around 2:30, 3 p.m. today was because of the Iran headline, which if you're just joining, the headline was that we are stopping the sale of the oil that we said we were going to let them sell a couple weeks ago. But I don't think that's actually the reason we went red today. The reason we went red is a lot to do with the anxiety around the AI trade, which is continuing to affect, pretty much every semiconductor stock right there. What happened to Palantir? Palantir fell right when that Iran headline came out. I mean, Palantir was really making a push for it, but so was ServiceNow. So was Shopify, which got an upgrade today from Bank of America to 150. So was Reddit. So was Figma. So was ZETA. ZETA was very close to 23. All of them, if you look at the chart, got dumped at the exact same time when that Iran headline came out. And I mean, unfortunately, it is what it is, right? If this thing is still affecting how the markets think of it. But I get why, it happened. It spiked up by 5%. It's the first time we've seen oil spike 5% ever since it fell below 70, which is, I believe, the first real 5% spike above 70 in the past 2 weeks. And obviously, that's not the best for the equity markets. Okay, Peng, do we have the numbers? We do. The stock is higher, 8%. EPS was a beat. Revenue was a beat. Revenue 478 million versus 400. That's a pretty hefty beat by 78 million. EPS, not bad. 84 cents versus 54 cents. 30-cent beat. 69.50. There it is, 70. It hit 72 for a second. I'll see if I can get more of their numbers in a second, but there you go. This is a small cap name in the memory space. Also has other ties to the semiconductor ecosystem, but memory has been kind of one of the core reasons it's been getting a lot of attention from retail and obviously from some of the sell side right there. It was at 75 last week, so really it's getting right back to the levels there. 14% as that continues to go green. And net sales 478 versus 400 million. EPS 84 cents versus 54 cents as it continues to go green. Now, look, if the market is willing, now it's a much smaller market cap, but if the market is willing to take Peng 13% up, you know, it's hard to imagine that this Micron dip, which, wow, look at that Micron after hours getting a little bit of love too, maybe from some of these Peng earnings. It's hard to imagine the market's going to keep Micron depressed in this $900 range. Not saying Micron has to go back to 1,200, but I feel like that 1,000 is where it more easily consolidates versus 900. It's just the volatility of it. I mean, we saw Micron below 900 today, and it stayed there for a few minutes before it bounced back, and then it came right back down. Like, people were just not ready to easily buy this today. Cerebras as well, that was down 8% as that took a hit. I'm trying to find some more numbers on Peng, see if we can get something else outside of just the top line numbers. The stock also incredibly volatile, but it's also, you know, created the ability for a lot of more people to find an opportunity to get exposure to the memory space. Okay, on the press release, Penguin Solutions delivered a record quarter, exceeding expectations for both net sales and EPS. This profitable growth acceleration reinforces our confidence that our AI factory platform strategy is working. Integrated memory net sales more than doubled year over year, and our AI infrastructure business continued to build momentum, reflecting strong demand and execution across our memory and AI infrastructure portfolio. We are seeing very strong AI-driven customer demand for memory and AI infrastructure solutions as inference and agentic AI workloads become more persistent and context-rich. Memory is increasingly becoming one of the primary performance and scalability bottlenecks. Penguin is well-positioned at the intersection of memory and AI infrastructure to help customers address these evolving requirements. Given robust demand and disciplined execution, we are raising our full-year outlook for both net sales and EPS. Operating income was also $64 million, which is up 67% year over year. I mean, the headline numbers look pretty damn good. 68.40 right now, up about 10% on the print. As a memory company, or a company that's very adjacent to memory AI infrastructure, it should, be seeing record demand, especially if the bottleneck continues to be memory. So this is not too surprising. The question here is, will the market allow this to sustain itself in terms of the growth rate? Peng trades at 100,000 PE. Yeah, I mean, again, PE, price of sales, none of those have really been the way to kind of look at many of these names. It's more so been about overall growth trajectory and then narrative. Peng is up 200% year to date. So this thing was trading well below 3 billion back in February and April. But then you had not only a lot of retail start to analyze it, but a lot of the sell side come out and say, hey, this is a memory name and we need more memory, especially with agentic inference needing more context, which is kind of been the thesis of the bottleneck around Western Digital, SanDisk, Seagate, and Micron. Then those adjacent names probably can get some love. Micron right there, 939, that's up a little bit after hours as well. VG, again, this was up on the day because of oil spiking, and that was up 7%. Fuel Cell, another offering. Wow, $200 million. Goodness gracious. You can't even get mad at these companies for doing it, but they're doing it. It was down 12% during the day, down another 11% after hours. 200 million public offering of shares of its common stock. I mean, Fuel Cell as well, 1.76 billion. I do not know enough about Peng's financials to know if they're going to dilute. I mean, obviously, I think if the stock got to like 100 or something, they'd probably take advantage of that. But if they have enough cash on hand, they might not need to. But also, then again, if people are willing to buy the stock, then maybe it would be appropriate. Fuel Cell got a big surge over the past couple of weeks, and it looks like that's why they are taking advantage of that as well, as that stock is down 10%. Marvell, is that green? Marvell is green a little bit after hours, but that was down 7%. Why was Cloudflare up today? So DigitalOcean had a really strong quarter. That got faded. It was up like 20%. It ended the day down 4% or up 4%. But Cloudflare, Akamai, Fastly, they all play a role within that CDN space. And so it made sense that Cloudflare got the benefit of DigitalOcean's earnings, but a few of the other names associated with it kind of ended up seeing it get faded. So are we back to needing more memory? Well, I don't think the narrative on us needing more memory has changed. And I think that was what we talked about in the morning. The narrative around needing memory, I think, whether or not you're invested in the memory trade, it is obvious that we need more memory. You have too many people, especially influential people, that are spending this CapEx, that are coming out talking about why memory is so important to the overall trade. The question is the perception of the multiple that these stocks are going to be able to sustain, not just get, but sustain, now that they are piling into the $500, $600, $700 billion market cap Micron and the $1 trillion market cap club. And so the irony is we need a lot more memory, which means Micron probably should be a lot more higher. But everyone knows that we need a lot more memory, and consensus is kind of not consensus anymore when we think of the perception of these stocks. NBIS right there up a little bit after hours, 195.24 as that one continues to go down. Yeah, TE also got hit. I don't think they diluted though today. I don't know what caused this thing to go down 20%, especially when you had really good solar headlines yesterday. But was Enphase down as well? Enphase, yeah, down about 3%. First Solar, that was down about 2.29%. All the drone stocks, space stocks, solar stocks, and semi stocks took the beatings. Most of the software stocks were okay. Peng now up 7%. And the hyperscalers ended green, but not as green as they could have been. Are the nuclear names down? SMR, was that down today? That was down 8% or 6.8%. How about Oklo? That was also down 6%. Okay. So all parts of the stack took a little beating. BMNR was down today. BTC actually did okay at 63. MicroStrategy also, wow, lost 100, down 3.3%. The argument is that in 2027, we will be in an oversupply of memory. Well, yeah, we talked about that in the morning. Bloomberg put out a report saying by early 2028, the oversupply could happen. Again, I feel like you have to really understand memory to have an understanding of if the oversupply is going to happen. I feel like once we have an oversupply, which inevitably will happen, and if the market even sniffs that it's going to happen, before it happens, which is usually what the market's good at doing, those stocks are getting hit pretty bad. But the level of demand that we're seeing, kind of the same argument for compute constraints, makes it more likely than not that we are not going to be in an overbuild for a long time. Now, again, Micron, when they were asked this question on the earnings, they were very strategic. They said, we don't know. They had an answer for every other question other than this one, because this is the one that determines if they continue to have crazy pricing power. So they said, we don't know. We don't know how much more supply is going to come online. There's so much demand. It's hard to see when everything's going to catch up. As soon as they answer that question with an answer that's not that friendly, then I think the market is going to get upset, because once the oversupply happens. But that's the same for energy, the same for chips, that's the same for any part of the bottleneck when it comes to building compute. It's just if you're bullish, that's likely not happening for a while, which again, that's kind of what I default to. We need a lot more memory. Every next version of NVIDIA chips need even more and more memory until you have some really amazing level of innovation that NVIDIA can use to say, hey, we don't need to be having 50% of our chip budget going into memory. Then that demand is not stopping anytime soon. Okay, so that's what we have with Peng. That was the big earnings right here. Congrats if you're in it. Up 7%. It hit 72. Now it's 67. Looks like the earnings overall have done pretty well. Again, Meta closed green. We talked about Meta's latest new image model. That is what shot the stock up to 625 from 605 after dropping from 615 to 605. Vlad just tweeted, only 62% of Americans have exposure to U.S. stocks. I'd like to get that to 100. Vlad's on a mission, folks. You got a lot of upgrades on Robinhood today. You had one firm come out and say 150. The highest I saw was 135 this morning. You had another firm in the afternoon say 150. So it is really nice to see Robinhood recover, and hopefully we can get above that 120 and sustain above that 120 as the Trump accounts create another pretty big catalyst. Yes, Fuel Cell did dilute, unfortunately. Or maybe fortunately. I mean, look, RKLB diluted at 130. They raised $3 billion at 130. The stock's down a lot from there. and they have $3 billion in cash, which is going to allow them to do that Iridium acquisition, which I thought was incredibly bullish, just in terms of building out the full stack when it comes to space communication. So yeah, the stock is getting hit. Our boy Matt Money bought some more Rocket Lab today. He posted on Twitter. He bought some more Rocket Lab at around 83. So maybe the dip buyers step in, but at the end of the day, at least they raised enough money and they can now use that money in more strategic ways. All right. It has been an entire week. I think it is once again time to do what we need to do on a Tuesday, especially now with this little downturn of semis being down about 20% in the past 4 days. I think we need to get someone's opinion using some technical analysis to give us some insight into where the markets are going. Ladies and gentlemen, after a long break, it is once again time to roll the intro.
We're live. What's up, buddy? Dude, I am
What's
digging
up,
the
man?
shirt. I'm digging the
Thank you.
shirt.
I appreciate it.
I actually really like it.
I appreciate
to get me
it.
something. I can't find my duck shirt anymore.
You have a shirt with a duck on it? Or
I have
multiple ducks?
Everybody has to have a duck shirt. Do you not have a duck shirt?
No.
It's
Why
like
does
a
everyone need to have
staple
duck
in the. Really? Yeah, ducks.
I do not have a duck shirt. No, I think
Many ducks.
I think we need to make a Hawaiian shirt with your Paper Gains logo on it. I would rock the crap out of that, dude.
You say that.
I would.
You got to be careful because I'm known to make clothes for some reason. Random swag. Do you see I got this one for Father's Day. It's Darth Vader.
I like it. I like it. All right. We've got a lot to talk about. Thank you for joining us as always.
By the way, you're not allowed to take a week off anymore. If it wasn't stated before, it shall be stated now.
You still held it down. I tuned in for a little bit with you and Steve. You guys were getting through the TA.
Oh, did you? It was fun. I would hang out with Steve like a lot actually. And then Maddie, we got to Steve with stream with Maddie a little bit. That dude is hilarious, bro. Matt is an absolute riot.
He's the funniest guy out of all of us, to be honest.
I love him. All I heard was like him going, Steve, did you enjoy your LARPing session? LARPing as a mitt. I'm like, bro. Hilarious.
All right, let's get into it. I will have the doc in the chat. We're going to get through 20 of the majors, and then we will get into audience requests. We'll have plenty of time today to get through everything. Let's start with SPY. I think to set up the conversation.
Can we get a poll?
Oh. On the duck shirt? Yes, I'll do it.
No, not on the duck shirt. I just want to know, does everybody think we're going up or down? Is there consensus? What color was the thumbnail today?
Jason texted me that. He's like, what do you think we're going up or down? I was like, bro, that's your job to figure out. I don't know. You're the TA guy. But let's set up the conversation like this, and you can pull up SPY. SPY is not really that affected. Like, we've had some really ugly drawdowns on some of the semi names. And I mean, SPY over the past 5 days is up 1%. Today was down 0.5%. Over the past month, still up 1%. We're still holding 747. This is not even as ugly as 3 weeks ago when we were at 725 before Trump had the tweet on canceling the strikes on Karg Island. So not even close, right? So I'm curious about your thoughts on the trajectory of what the indices are doing versus a certain sector that is 20% of the S&P 500, the semis, and the relationship between that declining and SPY holding up, and if SPY is just waiting to break down like everything else, or if there's enough breadth in the market where the show can keep going forward.
So SPY is decidedly waiting to make a move. In what direction? It is actually undecided. So if I were to put an option in the poll, if there was a sideways option, that's actually that's the direction that we're going to go. And I put two little red lines on my screen right now, up here and down here. So this is the consolidation that we're actually heading towards. It's a slight. You want me to start the timer? For anybody that's new, welcome to all the new people, if there are any. I'm not sure we can still get new people. We keep growing. I don't know how you're growing, but we continue to grow. It is all good. So I have a timer here on the top left because of severe ADD. It is a handicap, so apologies for anybody that's wondering about that. But anyway, so upper bound and call it resistance is between 755, just slightly over 750. Upper bound or lower bound of support is just below 740, between 740 and 35 and 735. These white lines on my screen here, and this is a daily chart. Two things before I go into the white lines. One thing that I think is actually, I think this is actually pretty interesting right now, just kind of coming out of last week. So when you left, I think this was like the week right before we left. This was the look on SPY SPY. This was a single day. It actually looked, I mean, this is a pretty bad day. That's like a big, you can't see it, but there's a big giant wick there where the day just went like a huge, massive range. I think that's the day that you're talking about, Amit. But yeah, again, we didn't have like a full open and close below that it's still that 735 range. Even all these other days, there's trading in between. So when I say like completely outside, I'm talking about a complete candle like extending down this way. We don't have any of that. And then the very next day, what's funny about this is that this is a Monday. So if you were coming into the market looking at that big nasty red candle on that Friday, what's likely to happen? A lot of people are likely to get pretty defensive in terms of whether it's hedging or just net shorts. And then instantly, this is last week, not this week, we start failing, which was, you guys may or may not know me. I do patterns a lot, but I don't act on them. We have to be very clear, like careful about acting on them. We just know where they are. So this would be like a super bearish, call it head and shoulders pattern, which would make like a neckline right around the same area anyways. But Monday, as this is failing, meaning it's not going down, that bearish pattern is starting to fail epically. And so that kind of sets up a bit of a squeeze, short squeeze to the upside also. And we actually go right into NFP and hit the highs. And here we are right now. So about this NFP stuff, what I will tell you is that this is Friday's range. And really, the way this works is that essentially this is going to be the high or the low of the month. I'm just telling you this right now, reporting. It's either going to be we've already locked the high or we've already locked the low. Right now, as far as we're going today, the trading range is definitively inside that zone. So I can actually easily see this kind of pull back tomorrow and then quickly go right back up. And maybe that was the low, but that's the question moving forward. Have we already seen the high or have we already seen the low for the month? And as long as we're trading inside of Thursday's range, not Friday, sorry, that answer is not yet, that question is not yet answered. If there's a whole system around this. We're going to do a webinar for free on Thursday to walk you through exactly how I trade it, intraday, swing trade, the whole nine. But today, just as an example, we're opening right here below that exact same level. And I just dropped down to a 1 hour. I might move this watermark because I think the guy said it was a little tough, which means that tomorrow, if we come in here, that's actually support. So I wouldn't get too worried about it. That's exactly right here is where I would stop being short. And well, the boy's here, he's asleep. But again, it's going to be this entire range right now where if we get very big candles like completely below this that looks a little something like that, sure, at that point that's the real breakdown range. That level's not until 735. We're very far away from it.
Why is 735 the level again?
So right now this is the June NFP area and the July. So without taking too much time, free webinar Thursday after the close, and I'll walk through the whole system. So I mean, we have a system that's basically going to help you define the trend for the foreseeable future moving forward. Just like this day here was either the high or the low. Same question stood in June. You want to pause it? I gotta pause it.
So
Same question stood in June.
you're using the non-farm payrolls data to essentially mark your levels of the trend.
So back tested, this is literally the best stat you'll ever find in trading. It is a fundamental event that defines a forward-looking technical level. So in all technical analysis, you have to look left and look backwards essentially to see where where your support and or resistance is. It's literally the one thing that is a forward-looking stat. And over, I think it's like the last 250 NFPs that we've had, which is as far back as you can physically go, it's 88% accurate within a 2% kind of buffer. And so I would say, same question for June. This is June. Was this the high or the low? I mean, it was the high. I'd call that within your 2% buffer right there. And yeah, we can go backwards in times literally as much as you want. But
so, okay, so 735, losing that, does that make you flip more bearish, or do you need to see like a flush to 7?
No, I'm definitively bearish at that point.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And so I think the other piece of this, because it's a system, is it tells you where you're bearish to, which is probably the best helpful point, is that it's essentially this area right there that we would likely fill in. So that's below that.
That's 7,000 then.
It is in fact 7,000. So if this kind of like bearish setup does trigger, then yes, we are very likely looking at 7,000. But we haven't triggered, and we're closer to the highs right this moment than we are at the lows. Now this is just SPY. So again, why I don't want people just taking this for like what I'm looking at right now. It's super important that you understand the system. There's a system like approach to it. This is QQQ. And you can see like this is actually somewhat similar, where we have a bit of a, I'll just play this here. We actually have the same kind of consolidation, something like this. And on this one, we're actually closer towards the lows than we are the highs. So what I would say here is that I would just say I don't have confluence. If I have both SPY and QQQ both giving me the same trigger, then okay, I have a lot of confluence, and it's a high probability situation. I don't have that right now. As of right now, QQQ is actually holding support also. So I have QQQ holding support, and I have SPY testing resistance. They should actually kind of counteract each other, which means that we'll likely go sideways for a while the breadth of the market actually expands. Now, just
which you think is bullish, that expansion?
Yeah, net bullish, especially if a lot of people are teed up for this kind of downside move and it doesn't happen. You know what I mean? Those are like the ones that I really like to find, because that's when you get a short squeeze to the high end, to the upside. Just because, look, if there's a lot of people hedged and it doesn't happen to be needed, then they're all going to quickly pile right back into longs, and we'll see. But Qs are on support. SPY is testing resistance from a tech perspective. 699 is that downside trigger. So you have a lot of support areas. And then the range that this would fill down is actually pretty heavy as well. So on both ends, if these two setups do actually fire off to be short, we have a big drop in front of us, which means right now, as a whole, I'm not really trying to do anything. This is the equal weight S&P 500, pretty bullish, just making yet another new high today, not closing on the high, but still holding. I don't need, I'm going to take some of these levels off just so you don't get distracted. We're looking across the board, right? DIA also all-time high today. I'm not really seeing that typically. IWM very close to the highs, but a little bit exhausted here. All upside targets have hit. I think on a larger scale, this is significantly, we have definitely broken out anyways from a longer term perspective. So, here, this becomes a question of trade location, if you will. And, is it risk to reward of new monies entering the market at this point in time. There's not a lot of upside just yet, just because we don't have, well, it's not a big discount. Let's just say that. I don't have a big discount section happening at the moment. If it goes down lower, then we're going to get really good discounts, and I'm seriously going to be ready for that. But at the same time, there's no reason to press the gas either, like right here, right now, because if I'm going to get better discounts, I'd rather have those. I'm fully invested in terms of what I want to have right now. Not selling anything. I'm actually pretty bullish in general. I think, across the market, the biggest thing to me and the biggest takeaway right this moment is last week, the fake news from Bloomberg in terms of the excess AI compute, from Meta, and Zuck's kind of like
that's kind of what started this whole
yeah.
Right?
To me, we are still dealing with that. To me, that was the match that lit the fire. That was exactly, to your point, what kicked this whole thing off. And then it's exactly what all the bears needed to hear. That's exactly what they wanted to hear. And they all just started running with it right before we get to earnings. So we have earnings coming. We have a little profit taking because a lot of things have happened, or a lot of stocks have moved pretty fast. Some things will get too discounted too quickly. But at the end of the day, we have earnings coming. And this is literally the best quarter on record that I've ever tracked. So that cuts both ways. One, I think the market expects very good earnings for good reason. And so but at the same time, we're very likely to get extremely good earnings. So the question just becomes, well, did we have too much pull forward, if you will? Have we pulled forward too much like anticipation, or is it actually time? But today, again, across the board, QQQ, SMH specifically, this is support. I would rather, from a trade location, take a shorter duration long trade than not, but I need to see a little bit more. So maybe tomorrow, if we get a little bit of a red open and we start to flip green, that's one of those setups that I would actually be looking forward to, like seriously looking forward to, if we do get that. And I think at this moment, it's very possible that we do get that kind of a setup. So it's going to feel a little choppy. Meantime, I think, no reason to panic. Frustrating if you're in the wrong stocks. I'll give you that. But
then again, the wrong stocks, which you could clarify the semis right now, have been the right stocks for the past 4 months.
Yeah. So I don't think that's, look, my thesis in general right now still holds. Like the people building out this AI data like infrastructure in general, whether it's at the data center or not, this is our generation's industrial revolution, full stop. The question becomes, how much do we pull forward, or are we expecting too much? And that's just a price and timing thing, really. Like at the end of the day, I still don't necessarily know if the companies building out, the actual clouds are the ones that are gonna get the price appreciation now. They should, to me, be the last ones in a business cycle to get that price appreciation, and the first ones that do see the benefit would be exactly what we've seen so far, and that's the picks and shovels that are currently getting a bit sold off, but also like the most durable near-term revenue that I can see. And right. I think we're just seeing that exact kind of rotation. But those companies specifically, those are the ones that are the most interesting right now, because they're all at support, like critical levels. And if those start to bounce again, I mean, that's quite frankly where I'd want to be.
Right. For those interested in that webinar as well, the link is in the description, so you can click on that and sign up.
Thank you
as well. Micron.
Moo. The cow. So slightly out of the channel here. It was an upside channel. You had 2 days kind of chilling, and then today is the one that's like the breakdown. Quite frankly, it's the exact same story. It's like, all right, you got the breakdown. Micron's a perfect case of like, I can see one more red day on Micron, call it to just under 8, and then I would expect some kind of sideways action like this. It might even flash like this. And then start to see some kind of sideways action. I would be pretty happy to see that. Support here is just under 8. So 783 down to 671 based on just a clean measurement, meaning a measurement of this extreme low to that extreme high. Literally right here is about 50% retracement. And this right here is 65% retracement, which these two things are pretty normal. This is the ideal spot of where you would want to enter long, or where you'd want to see something bounce. But a 50% retracement is about normal. I would wait for that, potentially wait for this like 50-day simple, which is the blue line right there, to breach here.
Is there a technical reason you think it got rejected at 1250, or do you think it's more AI exhaustion and fundamentals?
No, so I don't actually see a technical rejection at 1250. Here, the last measurement, the last breakout that we were watching was this guy right here. That was this like 50-day consolidation, this one. And that only took me, it only took me to about 780 anyways. So where Micron, I mean, I could probably do it. Let's go 5. So I take it back. Okay, so this is a 5x here, our consolidation extension, and this is a 4x consolidation right there at 950. So 1150 or just over 1100, I think is fine. You know, plus I didn't realize this, but we got to 1250 after breaking 75. So, you know, stocks that go over 75 usually go to 120 or a multiple thereof, and we did hit that. So I can see this one coming in, no doubt. But I think when it comes in, then you start to be like, all right, at that point, I'll look after it hits my level.
So you're not interested in even thinking of buying the dip until 750, essentially.
Micron?
Yeah.
I have never been interested in memory, quite frankly. I just don't. It's not my cup of tea. I think you could trade it for sure. I mean, congrats to anybody that caught it at the lows, you know, like 40, 50 bucks lows. Like that's money, but I didn't. And it's only just not my style, because I could say that there are many, many other equally awesome opportunities. Not that this is not a great opportunity. There's support, very near-term support right there. Not that this is not a great opportunity or potentially could be a great opportunity. I just that would, for me, take a lot of, I just feel like it's too consensus, and there's not a lot of edge in being consensus to me right now from a stock picker perspective. And how many trillions is this? Is this a trillion now?
Yeah, I think it's still at $1 trillion at this level.
Oh, it's literally 1 trillion. So
Yeah.
It's sitting at $1 trillion market cap. That plus a couple other technical reasons. Everybody knows that this is the bottleneck, like one of the bottlenecks, you know, not being into the bottleneck trade, because I just, you know, I just believe in humanity and they're being able to work around those kind of things. Yeah, I mean, so many technologies out there that are attacking legit this one piece right now. AI does not have to slow down for this trade to run out of steam either. So for a bunch of those reasons, you know, plus someone just put, so even if Micron's going to be $1,500 in Q3, I have 100 better picks than that, like from a risk to reward perspective, if you're willing to do the work.
NBIS.
Oh, right on cue.
Right on cue.
Is it coming through? I don't know if I shared audio.
No, it's good. It's good. We hear it.
So I think Nebius is exactly one that's like right there. So I think this can come in just below, possibly even below 180, but right around 185. I want to see this start to end up as support. I'm thinking one more red day on Nebius. And then I get interested, like real interested. If it's below 175, though, I'm just gonna like go hide in a corner for a little while, because that's coming down to a lot lower than that. Hopefully it doesn't. You know. Side note on the stock draft, I am decidedly in the lead for the race to the bottom, dude. I am crushing it.
But dude, you were
AI trade.
I think on Tuesday you were number 1, and then a week later you're number 6. Like it is.
Yeah.
It's so volatile, and that's why you actually need to give it a year to play out for all of us, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, so RIVN was doing. There are certain things like RIVN pissed me off, but we can finish on Nebius. I like Nebius here. This consolidation break. Sorry, just I want to since I'm still on a timer. This is the consolidation right here. I'm just gonna move to orange. So it's a break here, retest here, and then we start to go, right? And so from this area, quite frankly, what this is, if I measure from here to that extension, the extensions all got me to 285, which is meaning that's one full extension and that's 2 full extensions right there. So I've already, more than doubled the consolidation area. So a retest of 213 would have been a retest of that double, but typically that's not actually going to happen. I would come into about 50% of this consolidation. So that's where I am on Nebius. Even if I were to take it from this area to here, I'm pretty sure that's about the same. I'm going to get some confluence, which would be to say, yeah, about exactly confluence. So just under 180. Ooh, this is saying I could get it right now. This is what I'm talking about, man. Like I could get it right now. They're all so close. So close. I see a little bit more downside. Yep. A little bit more downside, but not a lot more downside. So I like risk rewards here now better than before. So this is like first area. You know what? I'll do it this way. So like I'm planning entry 1 here, and then it would be entry 2 right there. And I would plan like, okay, if you are going to go like half size there and then, bigger size over here, I'd plan it bigger if I got to 150. But yeah, I don't mind putting my toe in the water like as close to 180 as possible very soon. I like it a lot. I do. I still think Nebius has a good shot. I really like some opportunities that are showing up in some other stocks though. Like, Fastly had a decent day. I still think so I'm done with Nebius. What I will say is that if you look across the market, it's not the biggest like aha moment, if you will, in the market right now is that it's not just a broad like sweep of all the AI names that are getting decimated. It's actually not. So like a lot of the AI beneficiaries, however you slice it, I think the picks and shovels, the consensus picks and shovels maybe, or categories maybe, are getting a little discriminately sold off. Some babies coming out with the bathwater for sure. But there's a group of stocks that are. Did you talk about DigitalOcean this morning? Yeah, maybe. Yep, did you talk about? Well, they didn't even report; they just pre-announced. But
that was a pre-announcement.
Yeah, but also, I'm pretty sure. Cloudflare. Did you talk about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think DigitalOcean's earnings basically set the stage for Akamai, Cloudflare, Fastly to all get.
Yeah, bingo. I mean, big time. And like, DigitalOcean, it's all good. This is a tangent. I don't know that we want to go on to this one. That definitely looks like a pre-announcement to me. I don't have it on the schedule here. Yeah, I think.
Let's do some of the main tickers first, and then we'll get into some of these tangents and.
This could be a main ticker. Let me see.
I'm pretty sure they had earnings, dude. I'm pretty sure.
14 billion. I have them scheduled for mid-August.
DigitalOcean expects record Q2 result. No, I think you're right. It is a pre-announcement. Yeah. RPO is projected. Okay, so these were projections they put out today.
Same thing with freaking fracking Rivian was a pre-announcement. So that actually caught me a little off guard because they pre-announced like great numbers and then they pulled an IREN on me, which I really didn't like. Unfortunately.
Okay, let's do Rivian because I think a lot of people are curious about that. Yeah, let's do Rivian, then we'll.
I like Rivian, but I really liked the fact that Rivi was not doing the dilution and they were doing it with VW and stuff like that. To me, look, the R2, which obviously changed today, but the R2, it's not about the R2 to me. The biggest thing about R2 is that it ships with something called Autonomy Plus, which is their FSD equivalent. Nothing's as good as FSD. I don't think it's, but I also think it's naive to think that FSD will be the only player in town forever. So I think it's the first move in general. A $1.8 billion dilution is heavy. There's no way around
they also waited for the stock to hit 20 just to drop it.
And they're doing it for the reason like the Georgia plant expansion, which to me, look, you should know that the Georgia plant is going to, and the Department of Energy kind of funding around that. It's a big deal. They're not using the Georgia plant for R2 production right now. It's not even live. So like right now, shipping R2s in general is good. I think this is good. I think this comes back into like $15 or so, which you're basically there already, and holds the floor. I think that the floor is slightly higher, but not a whole lot higher. But the story here doesn't change for me in general. I think, it's not just about trucks and SUVs, which I do love their trucks and SUVs. Don't mix that up. I like them a lot. But I think that the call option is more on the Autonomy Plus second player out there, which not when I say that, I don't mean it because of Autonomous Plus being inside of Rivian. I don't care about that. The thing about Rivian is that they're open to licensing Autonomy Plus to all the other, even ICE vehicles, which is a different ball game. I got really excited about Tesla back in the day because of that idea. Quickly realized that was never going to happen with Tesla. But Rivian CFO was like, yeah, this is next on the table. So I like that. And I like the trucks, but we're SUVs. But yeah, I think this goes back into sideways kind of action. It was a good pre-announcement. I think this comes back in and then we stabilize and then they actually report earnings and it probably goes right back to like $18, $17. And then we see from there. I think the hype that gets in this stock before actually seeing the cars is mostly just hype. I think from here moving forward, you're probably going to have some production issues. Even when any new car that you start producing, you're going to have production issues. To me, that's going to produce the opportunities in the future. And, over the next 3 to 5 years, give or take, that's when I'm going to start to see. That's what I'm looking for. Anyways, but yeah, nothing's really changed on Rivian aside from the fact that, okay, there's some dilution now, well, more dilution, and that keeps the ceiling on the stock also.
Okay. We can switch to 230, by the way. We need to do 5 please. CoreWeave. I wonder if you see this similar to NBIS, or you think this might be a little bit more attractive given it's only up 3% this year now after the drop.
I gotta tell you, I honestly think that. So I like NBIS. The CoreWeave setup is good to me also. I just am also not sold on the fact that these are the players. Does that make sense?
Like the neoclouds in general?
No, that these are the only neoclouds that exist. I think that there are companies today that are doing this and possibly taking market share. I think Akamai could be one. But anyways.
But CoreWeave does have $100 billion backlog. Like I get your point.
Yeah. No, yeah. So CoreWeave does that. I like it. I like net long term, this is exactly where we are. I think that here you're right on that prior support level. I think, you know, before this area here was support. Oops, sorry. Red is supposed to be for resistance. That was resistance, and support slightly in here. This was support. So now we kind of just want to see what's going to happen right here, and we're barely over it. I don't think that's the biggest thing. All of this area becomes support in general. So if this is another one where I'm looking at it, I'm like, you know what? It can come in a little bit more, like one more red day, and all of a sudden start to flip green. So this is exactly my point of, we're very close to support on a lot of things. I think that we're going to go slightly deeper into support, but I also feel like the worst is behind us. I feel like the worst could be behind us, and I don't want to be what we would call shorting the hole from a trader's perspective. I just don't want to do that. And then, you know, to tie this off, and I know I'm a little slightly over, this is just a giant consolidation. Eventually, this can kind of pop to the highs, which is just under $100. That's going to be your next kind of resistance area. But if it can get back up over 100, that's this pathing, that like trajectory, you know, step one here. Let's say that that's not necessarily over. Like, it could come back in, but I want to see it get out of this little near-term consolidation here. This guy. And one more little breach would easily make that happen to me.
It sounds like just the tone of your voice is, you think there's a little bit more downside for a lot of these names before.
Yeah. But not a lot. Does that make sense?
Right. Like which is why you don't want to short the hole here.
Yeah, no, I really don't. Because we have FOMC minutes coming on Wednesday. And then, like I said, right after that, we have earnings that's going to come into focus. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to be short these names at all. But also, I don't see the lows being locked in just yet. I see it very close to. I see maybe one more like bad day, and then I'm going to be more aggressive from there, if you will.
Let's do IREN real quick, and then move on from the neopauts. Same thing you're seeing on the other two.
Yeah, I mean, this was ours. So like when you lost this, whatever that 55 level is, then you go straight to that 39. So this is exactly what I'm talking about. So if I were to replay this, you can't see it on my screen. I don't know what day this is from. Okay, come on, screen. But these are the lines on my charts right now. And so this was a breakdown, and it goes down to just about $40. And that's exactly where we are. So I think my point is, a lot of these things, I'm at my downside target or just very close to it. See that breach? And now I'm just retesting it. So $39, I could see this coming down per the arrows again, even lower, just to retest that $30. But anywhere in this kind of like green area, yeah, that's where I don't want to be short. And I want to be kind of looking for potentially some bounces. The problem I have with IREN is, again, more dilution, which kind of changes the structure of, you know, stock availability and the float structure. So we'll see with that. But yeah, I can see this coming in one more time, but it's also like very nearly at key support. So again, exactly what we've been seeing. I don't want to short this. I'm more interested in like waiting for buyers to show up and start bouncing. Overall, like if I were to sell, I think the broad market as a whole is like, yeah, this is more like sell very near term upside cover calls right now. You know, a week or two out, maybe not even, because we can bounce, but I don't know that even if we bounce, I'm still going to need to see more. So net, this is a lot of consolidation, and I don't see the end of consolidation happening. I do see us closer to the lows of that consolidation than anything else, though. All right, next.
Rocket Lab.
The lab of rockets.
I think the big question for people here is, do you think 80 is going to hold, or is this thing going back into the 60, 70?
It wasn't 80. So it's exactly the same thing. Like, I mean, this is exactly the same. Okay. So this consolidation right there is what this was breaking out of over here. And this 143, it's literally a double of that consolidation. And from momentum perspective, the second that it couldn't hold that, okay, I know that you're going into this area, right? But if it can't hold that, what I would have wanted to see is this, have it go back up there, but it didn't. So it started to get rejected right here in exactly that spot. The next spot was that initial breakout area from 99 and change, and it held. So the second it loses that, then I kind of know, okay, well, if you're going to lose that, then you go here. And right there, this is held almost like perfectly, 99.58. Then the next spot below that is right here. And okay, cool, we can bounce up. But I need this 99 to hold in that case for these situations to go higher. If it doesn't, then I just know I'm going level to level. So right now, level to level, this can easily hold. Again, exact same setup across the board. Why is that doing that? I don't know. But this
by
is
the
why
way, really quick breaking news: SpaceX plans to launch a new AI model with Cursor as soon as tomorrow. Maybe some competition for Fable 5. See how good it is. Maybe.
Doesn't DigitalOcean host Cursor?
I think they work with Cursor, but
okay, well, they work with everybody. Yeah. Anyways, yeah. If this doesn't hold, then this red box is what it is. Is your support?
That's 63.
It's 60. It's high 60s. Basically, this area here. If I were to like just under 70 and see how it connects with all this sideways action.
So okay, so hold on. Do you think 150 was just hype then? Was that never really supposed to happen? Like
it was supposed to happen. It was definitely in the charts. Well, 143 was supposed to happen.
Okay.
But it's momentum. I wouldn't say hype. I would say momentum. Is momentum the same thing as hype? All right. Was it fundamentally justified?
I didn't lose money. I accentuated capital losses.
Let's go to my Corning, because I did the same thing, right? So Corning had so it's not on the list, but big breakout extension. If I'm going to double my extension from the gate, right? Like from this one, my target is like 260, 250. Dude, it hit my target. It literally hit my target. What is there to complain about? There's nothing to complain about. So like that's where the trader and investor kind of like diverge. Dude, I'm just letting you know, on every stream that I was on while Corning was up here, I literally said I'm taking profits. Like, what? I don't know what to tell you. But that,
I was in Singapore seeing it run up. I don't know why the hell it ran up, but I was seeing it.
Yeah.
Well, all I could think about was Jason's probably selling his calls right now.
Yeah, that's exactly what was happening. I'm not even claiming to grab the to have gotten the top. I didn't. Like, I actually sold here and I sold here. I didn't sell. I was already out. Don't know what to say. But over out of profit. Here, what I will tell you is that I actually have exactly this spot. If you come in, you break out, you retest. This is just saying the story's not done. This is exactly right around the area. If this is over 195 again, I'm still cooking. Like, I'm still cooking. This is just one kind of impulsive move. That story is not done. So I like it.
You're saying that's the same with Rock Lab. It had an impulsive move to 150, but
yeah, just like Robinhood or Palantir to 220 and 160, whatever, right? It depends on your time horizon as an investor / trader. Technically, this is technical day. So we're supposed to do trading. So the trading, great trade, amazing trade, targets all, like the majority of targets hit. Now, having come back all the way, right back into support, I mean, I'm kind of interested again, dude. Not gonna lie.
Right.
Kind of interested in again. And I could say that across the board. So what's the next ticker?
Let's do ASTS, then we'll do Palantir.
More space left. ASTS. Yeah, I mean, dude, you know, the whole market's just like this. Like literally, this is that area, about $73. 73. You're like pennies away. I feel like this is close enough, dude. But we still have upside targets. So right over here, see these little, you can't see this. This says trim target. So if we lock a higher low, essentially what I'm going to be looking for is this area, maybe even this guy right here, to show up right over here. And I'd say that looks something like this. And then if we can get over your inflection point of 82, then we can start going up again. And that would take you to 104, at which point you should trim as a trader, 115 trim and 130. So 1, 2, 3 targets. And that would be -1, -2, -3. So that's, let's call it, I don't know, 10 lots, which means that you would buy, call it 10 over here. Does it make sense? And then move your stops up as you go. But yeah, this is a spot to get interested. It's a little heavy. It's not time, but I want to see it kind of base out and do something like that. So this could be weeks before it actually triggers for me. And I think I also, yeah, these are all at very interesting spots. I'm not so sure that we're going to get the V-shaped recovery or not. I don't know. NBIS is the one I would probably be jumping on, other than some of my go-tos, and like a Qualcomm right now, like really kind of like, I guess I would say excited about what Qualcomm could do, but also nervous at the same time. That should probably go on the. Can we do Qualcomm?
Yeah, let's do Qualcomm.
I'm good on net. I'm good on ASTS. Sorry, I'm skipping around. So Qualcomm is again exactly in my spot. So I had 170 on our last show, right? Right in here. And so like this has hit my level and it's starting to go sideways. And I really like this price action. So, you know, yeah, well, the investor day was a sell the news event, decidedly. If this is holding that 170 area, first of all, this is like a lot of support. Pivot. It can breach it. I think this is where I start to build the position below anything below 190. But from here, once it's over 190, I'm done adding. I don't want to buy this over 190. So that means that anything in this area, I'm okay to build as long as this is kind of like basing like that. That's exactly what I want to see. And then heading into the earnings report, I'm assuming that we're going to get, I will go ahead and jump on a limb here and say that we're going to still get a pre-earnings ramp, especially after a lot of stuff that they've been announcing or has been coming out. So I think that's first spot. All right, well, we get to this 205 area, and I'll say up here, there's two spots. One is at 230, which is this guy. Oh, shit, I forgot to hit play. My bad, guys. Fired. Right around 230 right here. That was that prior breakdown and this 2024 all-time high. I mean, this is the area I build, and I'm looking at something like this potentially into earnings right here. So I like this setup to start building. And this is like, again, decidedly not like a rip your face off type setup. It's more of like just chill.
it'd be a good trade.
Yeah, I think it's a good entry area in general.
So let me ask you this. Qualcomm spent a good amount of weeks just hovering above 200, 210, 220. And there was no real like resistance or concern. It was just floating around the range. And now it's aggressively getting this like 180, 185 type of range. Do you think that's more the semi market? Because the investor day seemed incredibly bullish, right?
It most bullish investor day I can remember seeing in a long time.
So then theoretically, if the semis flip, I mean, this should be a candidate to flip pretty aggressively as well.
That's why I'm saying like why I said what I said in terms of what I'm most excited about and possibly nervous about, because so Qualcomm has a horrible reputation. Let's just get that straight, right? They talk about IoT for, I mean, every quarter for decades and 5G and this, that, and the other, and it never really came through. So there's a lot of bad. This is literally the boy who cried wolf ticker. Like he's saying it again. And do they believe me or not? I'm just looking at this as twofold. One, the re-rate still lives in terms of like probably not a this quarter story, but it can be a longer story. And if they get data center revenue in general, which I do believe that we are pretty much sold out at the training models, which is why I'm like, okay, there's a whole thesis here. That's a whole nother multiple on their revenue that they should get. But at the same time, like that's half the story. That's the big half. The other half is that the rest of the revenue that they have is priced like it's kind of like mostly going to zero. Like that's what this was down here. Like that their old, on device chips were basically dead in the water. They're not going to have anything going with Apple, which up until Monday, I would have said is true, but as of Monday, I can't. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right now. Oh, you do? Okay. So like, just for anybody that doesn't, like Monday, there's like a huge leak.
Yep.
That Tata got hacked. And leaked the Apple 18 iPhone 18 actual parts list. Like the bill of materials, dude, full Qualcomm modem stack. It's in there.
Yep.
So like, so the entire thesis of like this part of the company, I didn't even care about that. I was just looking at it as like the entire industry doesn't understand the edge, like the on-device AI compute is coming and it has to come. And this is where I want to start positioning for now, moving forward. Again, this is not technical. Sorry, guys. This is a whole different arena. But
because the stock is getting hit so hard on the charts, but the fundamentals are getting better, it points to the broader macro argument you're making around the semis and the sort of choppy TA that they're all experiencing together. Because the news is getting rewarded, it's just the stocks aren't.
Yeah, and I think there's just so many other opportunities that, like, if you're asking me, do I want to be in memory? Micron, I mean, Micron doesn't have the potential to be re-rated. So that's not an option in terms of what potential things could add velocity to stock appreciation to actually make me money. Because I'm selfish like that. And I'm not just investing because I want to support someone's company. Like I actually want to make some money too. But yeah, I mean, the potential re-rates and additional lines of business that could completely transform so many companies right now. That's exciting to me. Almost like, being in hood at $8-10 or Palantir $10, $8. Hold on. Is Palantir the same price as hood? No, they were for a day or two, I think, huh? Oh, that's funny. We should make a rule. If Palantir, if hood is more expensive than Palantir, you should sell some hood and buy some Palantir. Is that like a law?
Are we using the dollar price to determine expensiveness?
Yes, we are. Let's just be crystal clear that we are using the dollar price.
Okay, let's
I should have got a screenshot. So Palantir is like price discovery mode right now. I have two white lines up here, so I made it green. So what I mean by price discovery is we have actually a series of higher highs and lower lows. Your favorite, broadening range is what we call it. Some people call it like a megaphone. It looks like a megaphone like that. So the price goes both ways. We see this from time to time. It's not that abnormal. But what happens is that you actually breach support, you break support, it's trappy. You lose support and you break resistance at the same time, both ways, over and over and over. And this is price discovery until you can finally get a channel. Technically, the channel is down, but this area right here, once you drop out of and then reclaim back into, I think that actually is what basically sets us up for a bit of a push back to the highs, which, don't quote me on this, is into the 160s typically, but because it's a broadening range, I would say that you're very likely to see a new high, possibly closer to 168 than not. You just need to be really careful on this because, like I said, this is not necessarily done. It can do that right before it does this, and so on and so forth. Best case scenario, just take this higher kind of downtrend area and say, even if this does pop slightly, you want to be pretty patient. I would just say from the lows at 114, which we had as support, best case scenario is you get a move all the way up to here, which locks my higher high one more time. This is decidedly resistance, right? Just to be crystal clear, that's resistance. And then get a little bit of a pullback here, but lock a higher low one more time in the same place that we saw it before, something like that, and then see it bounce again. It'll probably try a couple times. That is exactly what would take you to the promised land and then create a new channel this way. But all that's to say is that's a lot of prognostication right now. None of that has happened. It is on track simply to this right here. But before we can even say that, it's got to get through that center line, which is literally right about here. So first stop complete, bounce off the bottom. You're about 20-30% off the highs or off the lows. So congrats on so far, we're going to label this a dead cat bounce. That's exactly what it is. But if it's holding 140, this is going to start to look a lot better in general. Somebody asked me about this earlier in my group. I'll pause this and I'm going to tie this off right now. But this is last week's high, 132.88. So as long as we're really holding over 132.88 on the weekly, this can actually take me right back into this area, which, zooming out on a monthly one more time, this is now your monthly. What is decidedly factual right now is that you're not going lower. And so from here, we kind of just measure on a monthly perspective. Where's your first stop? Well, 50% of last month's range, 135 exactly. Takes you up to 143. I forgot the number I just said, but with absolute clarity, if we are over 143.63, we are going to make that 165 plus. Like, I would call that like an 85% probability of that happening. But before that can happen, you got to get through resistance. And this is the chop zone. This is where the bears live, all in here. And we're just now testing the first level of their kind of like, call it defenses. So you can be cautiously optimistic at best, but it looks constructive. All right, next. Was that a good one? I went a little bit overboard on that, but I think it was a more complicated chart. A lot of the semis in general. So this is what I'm saying. Like, look, the chips themselves, you would think the AMD is going to be down 20, 30, 40, 50%. I don't know, something stupid. It's not. It's still holding. It's down 8% from the highs. Nothing burger. I don't think it even hit a trillion. Is it a trillion that this is going for?
No, 600 is a trillion. Still hasn't hit it yet.
Yeah, it hasn't gotten to a trillion. So I think it still has that date for a trillion. This is actually support right in here. I mean, I have no idea if $1 trillion is expensive or cheap for AMD. And I think that therein lies the bigger question is like, yeah, the chart's done really good. Actually, the chart does not look bad. It's at support. This looks like it's mostly consolidating right now. I do not want to see this below 490. Below 490, this is in trouble. But we're not at 490. So for those reasons, we're still at support. We're on support. And if this goes, the chart's not broken, and this should still be on its way to 617, give or take, potentially over to 650. And that is just a literal consolidation range here, doubling that up to about 655, 65. 50% of that is right here, just over 600, which is how I got that. But yeah, this one, I'll give you another one since I have an extra minute. Intel, also very similar. So Intel, look, it doesn't look bad. Like it's heavy, but I'll just put it to you this way. This is exactly the setup on SPY coming into that Friday that looked really bad. This is the kind of setup that looks ugly in the moment. And then the very next day, if it gets back over 113, will slingshot, boom, right to the highs very quickly. And it's like that one day didn't even exist. I see this all the time. So again, right at support, right over here, 107 to 105, give or take, is that lower end of support. Dude, if this is back over, I'm gonna call it 115. That's on the mend, and not going down. So over here, closer to support yet again. If it does break down, I'll just caution that of like 75 is your first area of support below that 105 zone. So if it loses 104 and change, it is 75, but not before then. All right, next.
We do have a little bit of breaking news. This was to be expected. U.S. Senate Command says it has begun launching powerful strikes against Iran in response to Iranian attacks on 3 commercial vessels in the Strait of Hormuz. So that could also invite some volatility going into tomorrow's price action. ZETA.
Holding. This one's closer to SPY, and I think some of the software names. So a lot of the AI names are close to support, just like QQQ, oddly. And a lot of the software names are close to near-term resistance, just like SPY, oddly. So yeah, this one can get to 24s, but a bit exhaustive today. Let me just measure this quickly from here. Yeah, that's so off that more recent bounce. I think this is your first kind of like bearish resistance right here, measured from here to here. So this is about literally like the basic 50% bearish resistance, but real resistance gonna reside right around that $23 range, which is exactly where it peaked out this morning. This is more neutral than anything. 2185 is your spot. So if this is opening and closing below 2185 tomorrow, expect a pullback sub 20 on ZETA. If not, this one's just okay. But again, it's like SPY, closer to resistance than anything else. And by the way, that a pullback isn't horrible. It's like that's all I'm talking about. So what you don't want to see is you don't want to see a pullback breach and this get below 18. That's not going to be good. But that breakdown doesn't happen until like high 18s on this guy. All right, I'm gonna drop this down to a minute 30.
Minute 30 is good. Meta.
I am so.
This one's holding up well, right? After the announcement.
Yeah, I'm about to short
550. You're about to short it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah, there you go, son of a biscuit.
It was
Sorry.
doing good until you said you wanted to short it. Now it's not doing good. My quant tells me he's going short after I said it.
I'm
was
not
good.
a quant, but if I were just to take this one, this is literally so 218. I think is my spot. I just mean short for like a short time, not a long time. And pulling back, I think this one saved itself just barely. Here's what I'll do. So this setup, essentially, if I am right there, this is what I would call like a fair value, 620. You know what? I don't even need to do that for you. We'll just use I think I did this one earlier. Yeah. So 618 is my kind of pivot right now. And you can kind of see a bit of a, what we call volume shelf of 618. If this does this tomorrow, I think you see 610, but it needs to hold 605. And that is going to line up with, so that's what a short looks like, guys. You might not have thought of that, but that's it. If this holds around that $600 level, I mean, that's okay. This could even come back into 590s, but you don't want to see this below 590s on Meta. If that's happening, then there's something even bigger wrong. But yeah, I don't. This one doesn't have to go higher right now. To me, net, this looks like it's more trapped. So I would just in that scenario be trading the edges, meaning like here's where resistance really is. And I can see this breakdown here and here. And so just slightly below that, that's where resistance is. End of story. So do I expect resistance to, if it's in a downtrend, which long-term this is, or I don't know, long-term from August 2025 to July 2026, this is in a downtrend.
Yo, that is the craziest bear thesis I've ever heard of, but it makes sense on Meta.
Yeah, I had to define
global population peaked. That's actually a bear case for Meta.
Global
right?
population peaked. Listen, I don't mind Meta. I give Zuck credit here. Cloud services, arena prediction markets, and new glasses all within a 60-day time frame.
And a new image model today.
And a new image model. At least the guy knows he's got to make some moves. At least he knows he's got to do something. He's grasping for straws. I wish him the best. Maybe he pulls it out. But he's moving. He's moving. He's grooving. I kind of feel like he's floating headlines to see what the market's gonna actually respond to. You know what I'm saying? And like, oh, okay, let me float this one. Let me float that one. Let me pay. Let Zuck pay the Bloomberg freaking author or writer to drop that headline and see if the stock responds well or not. And if it does, all right, well, let's go forward with this project. Like, dude. But
well, so far, Meta Compute has been the most friendly thing for the stock.
I mean, to his credit, like I said, like they know that they got to do something. They're able to do it. Meta's, I think they're still leaning out in terms of laying people off. There's a lot of layoffs over there, but it's not like the company's dying.
Yeah.
Hoodie is at resistance, very nearly full target from that downside move. So this is off that $70 area. So this is it. I think you got to be from a trading perspective. You got to be down to like your very last little bit of, let's call it runners, and move that stop up to 108. So again, big congrats from the mid to low 70s entries. If anybody got that, I mean, it's a great trade. Literally what we're talking about right now is a 63% gain and the trade is complete. Doesn't mean it has to go down. Doesn't mean it has to go up either. But the first move that was like set up and everything, it's over. And now we have another move. Whether that move is up or down is TBD. Over 122.25. Look. Over if Hoodie is over 122.5, I keep pausing this. Then this is gonna get nasty. and we're going to see a $200 stock next year or higher, 250, I think it was. Yeah, 245. But until then, this is setting up to still have that happen, but I don't want to chase it here. Until then, to me, this looks like it can come back in a little bit. I would like to see it hold that kind of like $90 area and then get up and go. So I'd like to see another pullback right around here and get stuck in between 120 and 108, 120 and 110 for a while in Q4 and eventually break out into like Q1, Q2 of next year. And then we're on and cracking. Until then, I think you had a very nice pre-earnings run. That's what it is. Just so you know, I think this is all momentum also and hype, you know, whether it's World Cup or, you know, this, that, or the other, doesn't matter. It's not real yet until we see the numbers. But so far, so good. I just want to see it make higher lows from here, which means pull back, higher low, and then I want to see it start to trend.
SOFI.
Also, do you have a process of how you're finding tickers? Because I was told that when Steve and I were doing Technical Tuesday, that it was quote unquote pure comedy as he was trying to find the tickers.
No, I think the funniest thing was before
Did you watch
guys
it?
started, I saw the beginning, and Steve asked the chat, "All right, guys, what tickers do you want?" And then he starts writing them down, and I'm like,
that's when I was like, out in that moment, I knew we were screwed.
I'm like, Steve, you're gonna be there for the next 5 years if you're writing the tickers, though.
Yeah, and I was like, he was like, and I think he said, hold on, I'm still writing it down. I'm watching the chat. I'm watching that, and I'm like, bro, stop.
Well, see, but it's not easy to manage a process like that, and that was like the second time I think he's ever done it. So, I sucked at it the first couple times. So we've been doing this for almost 2 years now. So I learned how to kind of get as many tickers as possible, but also not do the tickers that, you know, for example, I'll let you guys into my proprietary method. If someone says, hey, can we do XYZ ticker? And it's one person out of thousands of people that wants this one ticker, I cannot waste thousands of people's time doing one little ticker. Now, maybe at the end we can do it, but you know, now we gotta have a balance of new tickers, but there's a lot of people that care about SOFI, right? So we got to give SOFI its time. And so,
no, I think they like it when I go like off script for a little bit towards the end, if I drop a bunch of tickers. And then on my Monday stream, Connie helps me out a lot. She's been like a godsend to me, but she makes like a sheet for me, and like it's all sorted essentially by whether it's super chats or multiple requests or whatever. But SLOFI looks still good.
Hold on, did you just call it SLOFI?
What is it called? SOFI?
I heard SLOFI.
SLOFI is still slowly doing its thing.
To be fair, bro, 15 to 1850 is.
Oh yeah, dude. Absolutely. I haven't. It hasn't even made the move yet. Also, to be fair, 25%. That's not the move that these are not the moves you're looking for. Straight. Keep going. I think that SOFI cracks 1850, then you have a big move on deck, right? And that is into the low 20s. That move is going to be juicy, and that's the one that you really want to see happen. That's about another 30%. So if you're from the lows off here, that's your 60 from this low 14s to 23 and change. That's your 60% move on a dead cat bounce. I mean, that's a nice one. That's still very much in the cards. And so even here right now, if this does a little breach like that, look, if I were to synthesize this, whatever, path it out, even if this pulls back and hits like a 16 and change, the story doesn't change. The story doesn't change. Like it doesn't change at all. So this can pull back. I think you hold steady. If you can get it towards 16, you do it. And I think you take a shot. I'm sorry, not financial advice, but my time is up. And I think $16 would be a gift near term. And that does not break the chart at all. And I think later on, maybe this happens to be on their actual earnings again. and you have to sell it after hours, that's very possible. Hopefully Anthony's not listening. Damn it. But
the reason it got hit from 1890 is because oil going up today, right? Increases rate hike probabilities.
No, I think people are getting, it's more like the Fed, what's going to happen, all that kind of stuff. Tell you what, tomorrow we get FOMC minutes, which doesn't technically move the market very much, but because it's a new chair, it's possible that we get some movement tomorrow based on the minutes that are released later on, which is something that people probably wouldn't look out for. I would also say we should look at the notes. The note auction, I think there's a 10-year coming out tomorrow also. So tomorrow on deck, two things really that are actually market moving. Yeah, I know it's not highlighted that it's going to be market moving. I'm just telling you that 10-year note auction is the 2-year and the 10-year note market moving events. And FOMC minutes. This is, I believe, Pacific Standard. So this might be, I think it's Pacific. I don't know what time. Anyways, that's that tomorrow right here, this little 2-hour block. Those are our big pivots of the day, end of the week. So if we can get past this and then we start to bottom for this week from here, from that point forward, hopefully that's the low and we lock it in at whatever time zone this is, 11 a.m. What's UTC -7? Is that Eastern or Pacific?
I have no idea.
Damn it. Hopefully that's the low for the week.
It's usually 2 p.m. Eastern. So
yeah, there you go. So tomorrow midday, it's either going to be the high or the low for the week. But if we're trending lower from there, it's not, it might not be over. But those are the pivots for the week. All right, we got more tickers. I see a bunch of oracles. Okay, or Nokia.
Yeah, let's do Nokia, then we'll do Oracle.
So a lot of the telecom stuff is like really telecom infrastructure is not doing well. Lumentum not doing well. I'm not Lumentum. Lumn. Lumen not doing well. A lot of those today. We got some pops and some other ones. Not that that's really a big deal, but this guy here, I don't think that this view is going to do it justice. We do know that umbrellas are bearish and bulls are bullish. The bulls are bullish. But regardless, I have to pull this on a much higher time frame and just to get like a clean sense of where we are. So this pivot right here, 16, I think that was that upside resistance area. I think we essentially hit it, all of this area right in here. So the bottom end of this support is, and I know it's not a same company, but it's a technical piece. That's about 10 and change. This is a monthly candle. So the bottom of last month right now, both of these is about 12.13. Labels. I don't know why it's not doing that. It's about 12.13 right there. If Nokia can reclaim 12.13, I think you're fine. If not, then it likely gets a retrace of the prior month, which there it is. It's still going to land me right around that $10 to 10.50 area, at which point you'd be here. Looks like you have earnings coming any minute. I would still say that's the downside. 10 to 10.50 right in this area. Whether or not that's on earnings or not, I don't know. And if you do get that, maybe it gets a bounce and you get a little something like this, but that still brings you back to that 12.13 area, at which point you would need to see that. And if this is the structure that you see like that, that becomes another bull and it becomes really bullish. But that is where we are.
NVIDIA
actually looks like it's going to get its pump first. This one I could take long, like soon, if not right now. I like this one. So we had 90s, right? So we had 90s as support, at least for a bounce. And you're right into that. There it is, right? So this exact spot was what we outlined before you left. See, dude, you didn't miss anything, actually, leaving. Like you didn't miss a damn thing. Actually,
I mean, it was below 200 when I left. It's below 200 when I came back.
look, I like this area. Like this is your consolidation. It's very interesting. Now, if it loses that 190 area, okay, fine. Then we're gonna see this 180. But I mean, that's your risk, and I don't really hate that either, quite frankly. Yeah, I got a lot of confluence here, dude. So I think this is the first spot. Can it go lower? Yes, it can. And it can get lower. If I lose this 190, I would not jump in front of this. I would actually wait for another dip into the low 180s, like close to 182. If that gets lost here and we get in here, because from there, I would expect this to like that. So I would add once like here, twice here, for a little tradey trade. And that trade should, I mean, that trade could actually, if that trade works out, dude, not gonna lie, that could take you to the moon. But it could take you to 215s. So here, and then once that's back over 200, then you're gonna get this. And if you can get through 217, then you get that. If you get through there, then you get that. So,
but if that happens, all the semis are going to pump with it, unless you.
I literally think that's going to happen. I literally think all the semis are going to pump with it, but I just don't think it's time to buy it yet. Just like I'm saying, like, dude, how much is this more on the downside? Can you get a little bit more downside on this? Yeah, I think another $10, and that's what I mean. Like this could feel really ugly. Like if you think the bottom's in, I think you're doing it wrong. Anyways, but like you know, it's a process. So like they're all so close, man. They're all so close. It could go any day. But I think that the worse it gets, I'll take some dips and we're gonna get some bounces. And then from there, it's just about like how big are the bounces? Do we get actually a V recovery, or do we actually get some kind of like rounding bottom? My gut is that this is all just nonsense. Sorry, rotation, a little bit of software buy and a little bit of this, a little bit of that. This one got a little overheated. Then I got freaking Zuck grasping for straws. I don't know what to think anymore. And eventually earnings are going to come out and it was just all going to be a nightmare. That's my gut. And a rant. So, you know, we'll see. I could be very wrong. I don't know if the same guy asking for Oracle 100 times over or what, but I'm going to do it. So it goes away. But Oracle decidedly at support yet again. I mean, so last time we spoke, Amit yelled at me because I said it looked like a really bad chart and it was going back to 130. But, you know.
That's exactly what happened.
It is. It's not. Anyways,
no, I'm saying that's exactly what happened. I mean, it's incredible. This thing was at 250 last week or 2 weeks ago.
Yeah. So I think
that's disgusting. That type of a drawdown,
dude. So this situation that we're seeing on Oracle, look, think about it this way: is this not the same situation that we saw on Meta, not 6 months ago? Is it not the same situation that we saw on Microsoft, not 30 days ago, or so? Right. So is this not potentially the exact situation? Don't hate me now. That we could possibly see on Hoodie and move forward if Palantir gets to 165, pulling back down. I think that everybody should prepare themselves for that possibly being the situation. Does it mean that these are broken stocks or bad companies? Absolutely not. It means that the market doesn't know what to think about it right now. And I would say that when it's overstretched here to the upside, dude, it's probably going to pull back. Just like if this is overstretched to the downside, I would say, dude, it's probably going to go whoop right back up. So it presents yet another opportunity why trading, I think, is a good moment, but also patient with your trades as well. So I just paused that. I think that this is very nearly down the lows. I think this can breach 130s, but not by much. So I think like if you see a 120 handle on this 125s, I mean like just a small itty bitty like liquidity grab whoop, to fake it out, right? Fake it out, and then you go right back to the upside. I couldn't be more serious. Again, is that going to be a real move or is it going to be a fake move? Couldn't tell you, because it totally could do that. But that's what it's setting up for. And if I can get another 40% win from just under 130 to 178, I think it's worth it, even if you don't like the company. But I don't think you should fall in love with the company either. This is getting a little stretched. I think that the majority of this is played out. This will start to base, and your SMAs will start to catch up. And this is exactly, if you're a bull, which I'm not, could not on this one. Could it happen? I think it could. Plus, the bears are all over this, and they want this to break. So let them think that it's going to break a little bit, and then that would be the failure of a very bearish pattern, which, I really like those. Don't know that that's going to happen, but that's what it's looking like right now.
I also think two things: the neocloud narrative really affects Oracle, and obviously all the neoclouds have gone over the past week because of Meta. And then two, on earnings, the reason this initially fell 15% is because they said they're diluting by 40 billion. So I think the market knows that there's going to be more ATMs getting pretty soon.
Yeah, I think with the Zuck's headlines, this, that, and the other, I think that then you see the dilution stuff. Even RIVN, who wasn't supposed to be, RJ's pissing me off, but whatever. Wasn't supposed to dilute like that. Does it anyways. Creative dilution, if you will. I think so. I think we have to just wrestle with that idea, and I think that puts a lot of hesitation in the market too, because the credit thing is one where like I don't really want to play with the credit situation, because that could take a lot of neoclouds out in general, right? If credit becomes less available.
Right. Amazon.
There are very bullish sectors in the market, though. Do you know them?
Well, healthcare, utilities, consumer discretionary, energy.
Well, okay, you're down on GE Vernova.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah, but I like it. Actually, so also diluting, right? Amazon.
Well, they're raising debt, so
okay,
I guess levering up.
Yeah,
but again, all that debt, that 25 billion of bonds, it's going to go into Marvell and Micron and all the sectors, right?
Which is what I would prefer to be in right now, because like that's where I know is happening. That's where I'm like, oh, okay, Qualcomm. I would really like to have that. But I think this is the flip flop, like the flippening. So that 240 or whatever, sorry, right here, 245 was that prior pivot. This red line down here, this one here was that downtrend, existing downtrend that actually this is actually a really good kind of like break, retest, and hold right there. That's perfect. So 225 was a good spot so far. This looks like it actually has a little bit more upside. So I'm a little extra on this one. It could, but I would be very cautious of this happening on Amazon. So we don't want to see like a higher. So you have two lower highs, one, two. If I get a third that's sub 260, I think right now this looks like it's going up there. You're going to hit right into that. There's sorry, I keep zooming. There's like a 20 days or 50 day simple moving average that's right about here, just under 250. that is where I would be more concerned. But this looks like it could go slightly higher. I just don't want to see this. You don't want to see this below 235. So the biggest pivot here is that prior all-time high, whatever that is, 242, something like that. And this entire area over here that was resistance, essentially you just want to see this whole area turn into support. As long as it can hold support in this area, there it is. As long as it's over it, you should be okay. And then you're good.
Microsoft.
Yeah. Just double check it. Yeah, it's a little bit more upside. Microsoft also not going down. Was that it? Was that it? Was that the number? Did we get it?
I mean, if it actually were to go below 350, it would have been.
Well, this is the 350 spot, right? So
Yeah.
349, boom. That's your bearish neckline. Dude, we keep getting this setup, man. I'm getting this a lot. This very bearish setup with like the key pivot right here. If it fails, all right, they'll have their way with us. But if not, I would like to see that fail in that direction, but it's not there yet. Yeah, I think you hold steady on this and do nothing. I don't have a trade. I forgot to push play on this one. Damn it. I don't really have a big trade here. I'm just looking at, this is about 384. Yeah, I mean, there's some pivots over here. This whole range that was essentially breakout from there. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, and you're just now holding. But and then as I zoom in, it's on the 200-week simple moving average, which is this. You can't see it. So this like purple line right there. It's not bad, but it's a lower low. I think this is more of the, oh my God, it is. It's another broadening range, dude. I don't like that.
This has been similar on a bunch of stocks you looked at today.
Yeah. So I think it's price discovery. We'll have to see. They're closer to like that overhead resistance area, like up here. So like that's where it could and make a decision. Here, I'm tired of looking at frustrating charts because that would frustrate me if I was trying to trade Microsoft. I posted this one. So you mentioned biotech and stuff like that. This one's more bullish. It's already gone, but it's just an example of don't chase this. This is already in play. It's already long and it's already paying out. But it's just an example of what, just since it's been so long that we've seen some very good looking charts, what they actually look like. So all three of these SMAs, white, blue, red, very, very tight right in here, like a big breakout earlier, pulls back, and what we'll ideally see on these stocks that we're talking about, like the tech stocks, is something very similar. But I'm looking for this setup, and I get a near perfect test of those prior like reaction zones. And so here now in the sector that is actually going, I can start to have a little bit of a bounce. I think this one has range up to 140s. Also not a bad company, but there are just other companies out there. So things like this, which is decidedly not the space that we're used to looking at, I think become even more interesting. And you zoom out a little bit and you're like, huh, okay. Maybe in fact, this is one of those really crazy potential moves that you're like, all right, interesting. Was that a big giant whoop, whoop? Can it have legs? Yeah, I can, but I'm just going to give it to you for here now. But that is a very bullish setup on every time frame that you can find. Just as a reminder, this is what good looks like. All right.
Okay, let's do a couple more big ones, and then we will officially get into rapid fire. 1 minute on
what
the
did
clock.
SEC just drop?
What did you say?
Somebody's dropped you a super chat. I don't want to miss it. My man's.
My man's, what is the honest take on semi-memory sell-off? Do we have a dip buy again like the last 2 times? Or are we going down to 30 on DRAM, Micron 5? So we talked about it with Jason.
Wait a second. We didn't talk about 30 on DRAM. Come on.
Well, if Micron gets to 500, that's essentially what you'd be looking at, right? Roundabout.
Well, I guess so. It would be like 55 is what I would have, which again it's very, very, very much like closely there. Potential lifeline. We have some gaps. ADR gets listed for SK Hynix tomorrow. Is that accurate as well?
I think it's Friday.
Friday. Okay. Yeah. That could be a thing. But yeah, DRAM, you're also at support here. So I guess I didn't realize that thing moves that much. It's about 55 is what I have. So you know what we could do? What currency is SEK? Hey, I
think.
Oh, Swedish. No, that's francs. Swiss francs. That's a good currency.
Oh, yeah, you're right. No. SEK is Swedish krona.
Krona. All right. Yeah, so I have 54 to 45 support on DRAM, which is about exactly what we lined up on Micron, if we do see that. So yeah, closer to the support than not. All right, let's go.
Let's do 2 more big ones, and then we're going to go into 1 minute on the clock. It'll be full rapid fire, and we'll try to get through as many tickers as possible as we end out the show today. Let's do Tesla and Bitcoin, and then we'll get into rapid fire. First, Tesla. What do you think?
Tesla. All right. Tessie, 415. So we got to the 360 or something like that, 370s. Retest the 415 level. That is the one that matters. It could not get through overhead resistance. That was up here. It's not over 415. Listen, if you like Tessie, all I could tell you is that you want to buy it below 415. The lower below 415, the better. I mean, ideally like 3s. I don't have that today. I think that 395, if 395 holds, it's an interesting spot from a technical perspective, but it's still in heavy consolidation. It went right back into heavy consolidation after starting to kind of breach out a little bit. I think let's do this, grab these lows. Yeah. So this is your trend, which would take, this type of thing is going to take a very long time to play out. So if Tessie, because I'm done now with Tesla, let me just put this on a weekly chart and close it. So this is where you are. You're at the highs, and this is currently just kind of chilling, consolidating right up here, and you have a little pivot right there. So all that said, is it bearish? No. Can it come? Is it bullish? This is very much neutral. You would, if it was below that 360, that's no good. We're not even close to that. We're more like hitting our head up on resistance right now. So I like Tesla, but just know that this type of situation would have to play out. It would take a while to play out, and it could look sketchy. But if you're trying to get to 600 plus, it's a ways away from right now. And your better areas are closer to that 360 if you can. All right. What was the next one?
Bitcoin. We don't have to do the timer on this one. You could just fully do Bitcoin, and then we'll get to rapid fire.
Biddy. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know how I feel about Biddy. So Biddy does follow these NFP things. This is your support just around 62. Right now it's over it. So, and it's over its 20-day. I think that 59K bounce or lows was probably it in the near term. So again, just kind of like a breach across, liquidity grab, bounces, but still in consolidation. It just, I don't like it. I can't lie. I don't like it. It's not horrible, but I don't think it's a short either. I definitely think you're closer to the lows than anything else. It's not ready to me. Like, even if we took from this here, yeah, this is, I don't even know if I had this one. This is like grabbing from, what is that, 2023 low? Literally that spot 57 is a spot, but it has to get through 67 or 65. So like this being that prior resistance or prior support, sorry, and then showing up as resistance right here, right now. That's that I don't like. In addition to, it's just stuck, dude. This is a really hard one right here. This line is a prevailing uptrend, believe it or not. Right there, and it just tagged it. So I don't hate it, but I don't think it's like, oh, ready to go either. I think that it could go sideways for a while. It might get you really excited unless this is over like 72. It's just not happening right now. And that's a ways away. So it's kind of neutral.
All right, let's start rapid fire. We can put a minute on the clock, and we're going to try to get through as many.
I don't even think I have a minute.
Yeah, let's try to make a minute because 1:30 is going to stretch it. In rapid fire, Jason's really not talking too much fundamentals. Just
do we do buy, sell, holds?
Yeah, and then whatever.
Okay. We'll try that.
Don't
hate me if I don't like your ticker.
Yes, he will also reject your ticker potentially. He'll look at the chart and he'll just say no, and that's how you know he's not a fan. Celsius.
Hold on support. Better than a sell.
Jason, you have to press the timer in rapid fire.
Oh, I was done already.
I literally hold. That's it.
Yeah, it was just a hold paratiers. Hit support, high or low. It's good, but it's also lower high. I think this is consolidation. I just don't. It's in the right. It's in a safety sector. I think you can get a bounce like this, right? That takes you to what, about 49 something, and retest this prior resistance in the future over here. But my concern would be that is just a dead cat bounce. So I like it, but I don't love it. And even if it does do really well, you still need to have a much longer time horizon on this baddie for sure. So I like it.
Service now.
Ooh. Any higher, it's a buy into strength. For a couple day trade. Pre-earnings bounce coming into earnings. I think 110 is the pivot. It is the pivot of all pivots. At 110, this is a very long time chart. So big pivot. And that's where we are right there. So if this goes higher, you're in a dead cat bounce pre-earnings up to 127. You can have a very powerful trade that will be fake, completely momentum driven, ahead of earnings. Sell before you get to the highs here, or take measures before you get to that prior high here. So something like that. Cool.
Marvell.
Almost to buy. Session got filled from earning, or right here. So Jensen's $1 trillion quote has nearly come off entirely. Not too shabby.
I think another $9, and it's right back below where it was before he made the quote.
Yep. and you're retesting that earnings basically right here, right now. So about, if you can get this under 200, I think you take a stab. Let me just do one quick measurement from this low to this high. Do I have confluence? Well, this is telling me 211. And then the rest of it is telling me, yeah, as close to 200 as you can. You could really look. So yeah, about 200 potentially. But if it goes below all these lines that are gunked up right around here, around 170, that's where you would start to look. So again, technically closer to support than resistance. Next.
Semtech, SMTC.
Oh, you're going in my area. I like this company, but I think this one is a right in the zone. So this guy is in the right place, right time. So see this prior breakout at 95. I like this. This was about the last time I took a trade was somewhere over 110, and we're coming in to kind of retest that. So even if this comes in like that, I think you have, again, more to go. Oh, shoot. Dang it. But very close to that sub 110, potentially 90s. I don't want to see it much lower than this, quite frankly. So this is one where that could be like a flash. It's a small cap, lower float, mid cap, smid cap, 11 billion. Right place for sure to me, crushing it right now, but it has run significantly. And we have September earnings. So a pullback before earnings sets up for a bit more of a dip like this. So give it some time.
Okay. T1 Energy.
T1 Energy. Resistance held. I don't even know that I have a pullback on this guy. This one is one that you guys bring up a lot. I don't know this one that well. 670 to 534 is your support area right here. Again, just like the rest, we're very close to support, closer to support than resistance. So why I would be getting more interested in general than not on all these. So yeah, just under 650 if you can. Next.
Amcor.
Ooh, she was cooking. And then
She was going for 100, bro.
oh, she was basically there, dude. I was pissed. Basically there. I think this is the first stop though. So like this is 2000 all-time high, by the way. So yeah, right in this area, 65 to 60 is support. She's in it. Once she's out of it, I think you're closer to a bounce than not. You're going to have earnings coming. There's no way this company doesn't kill it, but again, I think compared to its own historicals, yeah, it's expensive now, but right here, right now, $60, that's your nearest term support. Next.
Grab.
Oh, what's happening here? She hit it. 330s. You're on the mend. It's fake, but it's on the mend. You're going to have the earnings run up for sure. Just careful of this guy right here. So this is still going to downtrend going to be actually somewhat into effect. So that brings it to about 430 and change. If it can get through, that's great. Again, don't chase it unless you're already in it. Like right here, right now is good. You can chase from here, but don't chase up here, I think is my point. And this could get to 488, at which point that is resistance. And then you want to pull this, then you want to come back, lock a higher low, and then continue on its merry way. That's exactly what you want to see.
Ondas.
Next.
Ondas.
Short. Sell. I wasn't supposed to say long or short, huh? I'm supposed to say buy, sell, or hold, huh? Buy, sell, hold, sell.
You don't think this one has been beaten
nope.
down enough?
No, completely crushed. Chart is a not coming back chart. Chart not look good.
You see it lower than 7?
Significantly.
Wow.
All the way back. Yeah. That's what the chart says. You ask, I answered. This is Oracle 2.0 incoming.
Okay.
Yeah, beyond repair on the technicals, that would have needed. See this little blip? I forgot to hit go. So 887, which was support. That was your kind of like, let's call it last line of defense. No, it's not good. It would have to be over 9 for me to even consider this. Something's something is wrong. That's what it says. It's screaming something's wrong. It's not like the others.
Hymns.
Oh, target acquired 37. Boom. Good job. Did you get that $12, $13, whatever? $13, dude. $13 to 37. What a trade.
It's a big move.
175%. Oh yeah. Sell.
So you don't see 45, 50?
No. Like that's definitely resistance. Like you're getting greedy. Like I said, 175% off the lows. Don't be greedy. Earnings are coming. Like from a trading perspective, expect this to pull back somewhere around like 27s is like reasonable. But it's had a huge move, which I think, we've been tracking for a little bit, not personally in it, but I know a lot of people are. A pullback into the 26s or so is more than reasonable. Maybe sell some $50 calls, something like that. But yeah, she's made a great move. You could keep it and you could trail out from a trading perspective, but my time is up.
AAOI. The photonics. Okay, but before we get into it, do you think photonics is it's done, or you think it's just having a moment, or do you think the bottleneck is not?
You need to really define photonics, because I think people have just like cluster effed the shit out of that word, and like, can we
optical networking, lasers? I mean, there's a lot of subdivisions in it.
Exactly my point. So like, we need to be very explicit about what part of that. Like, look, if you like fiber optics, I think you just go Corning as like, but that's not like, if you're talking about chips speaking in light, there are many other plays potentially, which I think that's what they're talking about, which carries over to the other pieces. This is actually near support. So this was the prior breakout zone right here, right now. I think that this is a way more complex space than I don't think it's done, but I don't think I could say, hey, look, this is the one either. I have plays in this area. You want one? Yeah. I'll put it on a watch list. You're gonna like the ticker on this. Are you ready? It's very small market cap, completely not what anybody would think of. Nobody in this chat has ever heard of this ticker, guaranteed. I only know them because I used to work with them next to Marvell. The ticker, are you ready for this one? AIP.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Arteris. Like already.
But it's opticals. It's security in that space. Very small market cap. Read the transcripts. 1.5 billion. For interconnect IP, coherent NOC IP, loss level chip cache IP. It's all like, if you're chip to chip optical stuff, there's actually a network on chip type stuff, and it's intellectual property. So coming in, big, massive break, extremely small cap. Again, not what people would think, but I do know the company. If this comes in lower here, do your own research. I think this is a play. Next. Googs. Well, so Google and Apple, their best time of year. I think both of them have done you decent for a pretty solid little bounce here. Googs into resistance, I believe, right now. Yeah, first level resistance right now. So 371 was on the cards. This resistance level goes up to 380 right over here. But that first kind of like tag at the 50-day simple today in the pre-market is that first sign of, all right, exhaustion, maybe pull it back. So again, just know where we are. We've come a ways. This is your third shot. Usually, if it's not going through right here, right now, you might pull this back a little bit. I'm seeing some confluence that we could get a little bit of a pullback. Hopefully you lock a higher low closer to that mid 350s, but I wouldn't press the gas on this one just yet. Expect a little pullback.
Elf.
Elf on a shelf. Sell again. Yeah.
You think it's a rotation play outside of tech, or the
No, it's already bounced. I think it's at least consolidating here. So from 40 to 79, you would want to see that 60s hold again. I think this is now consolidating
45% of the past month.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. I wouldn't chase it, but right here, I think that you are at least going to say, let's go ahead and consolidate a little bit. And this means that this can pull out like this. If it's actually going to get better, it'll look like that. But I don't have that just yet, like at all. So yeah, I don't have it. I'm just looking at this. Like that's about 88.
Okay.
88 right there. A little bit lower. Yeah, I'd be more cautious than optimistic.
Oscar.
Haven't looked at this one in a minute.
I feel like healthcare is having a moment.
I think it's just the general like rotation, but I think that I think that the healthcare rotation is closer to the end. Yeah. So this is target. This is first major target acquired. Expect a pullback. And a pullback could be to 23. Don't sell it. It's still on its way. If it best case scenario, this goes sideways and holds roughly 29. And then if it continues on, if you see like a 45 handle on this, yeah, you probably got to take some serious profits. But I say, you may take that back. Depends on how you were in this or not. Like if you've been adding this at the 12s, in the 12s since we've been tracking this, and you took some profits at a double, literally, right? Or even, from here, took some profits at a double. This is closer to 3. You should be sitting pretty. I just mean take your principal out and let the rest ride and let your runner run. Don't even look at it. Let it roll.
BlackBerry.
BB.
Your favorite word.
It was a fun ride.
Uh-oh. You think it's over?
I
got
can't
a
say
lot
that
of $25 price targets on this one.
I mean, I can't say that's over. I can say that again, a target has been acquired, but so it just means that it is what I mean by that is it is a momentum trade. It must hold the lower levels or the momentum reverses on itself. So it's like $10 it's got to hold. If it does, you can see, I don't have 25 on this. I have 15, maybe 18s or 19s at most. I don't have 25. But yeah, you'd have to see something like that, which means again, a little bit of pullback. very much like the rest of the space. It's okay. It's not like a screaming discount. If I jump in here and it pulls back 20%, which is, you better be prepared to buy it again, because that's literally where I would say a better entry is.
Let's do Fastly and Akamai. What do you think of CDN?
I Fastly I like. I mean, it's in my spot. I got my level. I'm not selling it. This is exactly the stuff that I'm talking about. Like, I think that these go in vogue, if you will, sooner than the rest, but also because people don't really, I'm a little worried because people don't really know what the hell these things are. Most people, I don't think there's any question to me whether or not this is going to do very well. Remember that Gilead chart was like all the SMAs are coming in really tight and price was just sleeping over them. I think that's what we will see on Fastly, but in order to get there like that, I think that the consolidation here is good. I don't expect it to be a face ripper right now, but I want to be patient on this guy because I think it can be. Yeah, I think that a lot of these, dude, I'm just saying, Akamai for sure. I think Akamai is dumb. This thing is like, all right. So they're selling compute at the edge, specifically for inference, with a deal like with the biggest deal the industry has ever seen for them, and a partnership with NVIDIA. This is retarded. Quite frankly, I think this is like, okay, this is my personal, I can't speak this way in front of 30,000 people, huh? I shouldn't.
Not 30,000.
30,000 will see it. Damn. I really like this. I really think that this is like, so this is security. This is the edge. This is inference with the right partnerships and the right labels. They have already announced everything. The market just kind of forgets about it. I think this actually makes a big move on earnings. Maybe it runs up a little bit, but the market is not a household name. It's right into support. I like it personally a lot. From a technical perspective, listen, that's, I'll pause this before my alarm goes off. What I will say is that what I just said is, if what I just said is already known about the stock, then execution becomes the risk. And if their cloud deals, this, that, and the other do not come to fruition, because that's what has to happen on this next earnings call for Akamai. That becomes the kind of like, potential risk. If they don't deliver like continued expansion on the contracts, then this does see probably 80s, but also then thesis is nearly flawed, which is always a possibility. So that's the risk, is that it doesn't actually execute all the way. But for right now, right here, right now, yeah, I like it. Can it come in a little bit more? I mean, not really. It basically did it already. And it's from this 69 to there. You're literally, I guess it could 101s, right? You're on that 116, which was my level, my very last one. And I would need to see it get over 125s and ultimately over 130s. But that's what I have on Akamai.
IoT.
Okay. Next.
IoT.
Samsara.
Yep.
This is the edge, my guy. I texted you once and I said, it's probably time to buy your IoT. And I think it was about $25.
I think it's the same time we were looking at Fastly too. It's about a month ago, 2 months ago.
Yeah, a couple months ago. I like it. This is the edge. I think this is the spot. Yes. So, but it's also that if you like Ambarella, it's already been moving back. The thing is that like Ambarella this is also IoT like edge. So is Qualcomm, by the way, like all of that. I like it all. I think that it might be, it's possible that it's slightly early. I don't think it's that early, but it's possible. As long as it's over 27, that's good. Over 35, it's just like holding 35 and like, oh, okay, we can have a big mover on our hands. This should be 35 to 42 and then 42 to 48. So yes, this is a good setup to me. I like it. Buy. Oh, juicy, baby. Look at that. This is Gilead also. Hello. Oh man, what are you doing to me? I wasn't trying to buy any stocks right now. Son of a.
It does look very similar to Gilead, to be honest.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, so just remember what good looks like.
Dell.
Can I just Sanmina? You know,
we talked about this 2 weeks ago. Yeah.
All in the same space. So Sanmina already made a big move like that, right? To know whether or not the edge is happening or not, I'm just telling you, we know the edge. NXPI, right? Big giant move with Qualcomm around the same time. Look, all of these are coming back in. Anyways, Dell, is that what you said?
Yeah.
Dell, high and tight. It's like AMD. I think it's good. I think you're good to go. I like it a lot, but we'll have to see. It's still holding. It hasn't broken out. This has got to go sideways for a while. This needs some more digestion. I don't think you're going to make a big move without another catalyst on deck, like a headline or something like that. This is somewhat exhausted, but it's in a holding pattern. Resistance 437, support 378. It's held both. It's right in the pocket. There's your pocket. All right, next.
Someone
says, dude.
What?
I'm just reading some of the stickers.
Will you do Keel or do you not like
that's the one I was looking at. I was like, I mean, we can, but like, listen, I would rather do high quality if we're gonna go low beta. I just don't, or low float. If we're gonna go low float, small cap, I would just rather stick with quality. Anyways,
you get the final choice. I'm just the man of the people delivering.
I think this is it was a big move on the Apple headline, and actually broke out. I think this 120 area again. This is very near support. I don't hate this. I think what was the other one they were asking for? Fluence, low quality, high beta, low float. Though this one, also not looking too good. I don't know what's going on there. Keel, I've been saying 4 though for a long time, and there they go. Every time for the last month, I've been saying 4, 4, 4. And if you liked it, you wanted 4 because you would need to see exactly that. So 4 is not here yet, but it's very close. You can watch.
But it's also, if all the neoclouds are getting destroyed, Keel's done for now.
Yeah, 100%. And I think it's more on like the quality. That's my biggest concern, right? So like at least NBIS is funding the build out with money being given to them by Microsoft and Meta, right? Like decidedly. And NBIS doesn't. That's all. I'm going to leave it there. CoreWeave I like, but also has to do some creative financing. The rest are on a whole nother quality, drops tenfold from there across the board. Your beta increases tenfold as well. I was just thinking, so DigitalOcean, back to DigitalOcean, it's kind of a different model. It's not too dissimilar on DigitalOcean than Rackspace. Quite frankly, Rackspace is actually just in its own kind of vertical. But yeah, I don't hate this. 130s Yeah, I want to see this kind of hold its own. But this is not the first time DigitalOcean has done this either. So to your point, I guess we should be conscious of that. Here's the earnings gap right here, from here to there. And so that puts support right around 123s on DigitalOcean. I think this is a good story. It's super interesting. It's probably their time. Probably. Because they changed their company from like they were just a DevOps cloud that you would run gear on for a little while and then move on to like AWS or Azure, but they're running different services now. So
Netflix.
ooh. I mean, if you want it, do it if you want it. 75, your downside's still 57. It is still 57. Hold. Next.
Sezzle. Fintech.
What?
SEZL. Do you know this one or no?
No. I don't think it's on any list of mine. Packaged software.
Oh, sorry. Wait. No, this is a fintech though, right? Yeah, it's a fintech.
Digital payments. Yeah.
Digital payments. Yeah.
Bank to bank. Is this like Zelle
I don't know, dude. I was
or
looking
Stripe?
into
Is
guys,
this Stripe? This is the Stripe equivalent.
I honestly couldn't tell you what they do. I think they have some BNPL stuff. They have payments platform. They give interest fee installment plans, but they're up 172% this year.
I can see it.
They've outperformed every other fintech.
Yeah.
BNPL. Okay, a lot of people are saying they're like a firm.
Oh wait, that was not a ticker. Oh, buy now, pay later. Okay.
Yeah. Buy now, pay later.
Oh, do you want a firm?
Well, first of all, you like Sezzle here, or you think it's extended?
Oh, it's definitely extended. I don't know enough about it. Like you at this point, like, okay, so if I just arbitrarily looking at a chart, I'm like, okay, target acquired. Can it go higher? Yeah, but it could also pull back. But I don't know the fun at that point. I need to really know the fundamental story qualitatively, not quantitatively, but I need to qualify this as like, does it have the potential to be $100 billion company? And if so, cool. I can still track this. But so do I want to chase it here? No, not necessarily. You could get a pullback into the 130s. If it does extend further, okay, well, that gives you about a 250 marker. But it's not really a breakout stock market right this second. We're more in the pullback mode. So seeing a breakout setup is a little sus, just naturally.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't know this was up as much as it is this year. So that's one.
Yeah, big miss, dude. Where were you on that one? We depend on you for these things.
I was looking at Hood and SOFI and Coin and
yeah. What are you doing?
the other fintechs.
Look, so I'm just like, you look at, we didn't look at this earlier. All right, someone put Datadog in there. Look, you're at targets 280, 268. Let's go here. You look at Cloudflare and you're like, okay, yeah, it's software. They got to upgrade today or something, you said?
Yep.
And I don't even think this was a pre-announcement. This is twofold, like the security, it's security and it's CDNs and it's all the above. So why is cloud? So this is the saving grace, is like there's still appetite out there for AI beneficiaries. Is it the same kind of beneficiaries that you're used to thinking about or seeing? No, not necessarily, because this would benefit in a way that nobody's talking about, in terms of like, this would benefit in a way that has nothing to do with building the infrastructure. Like I am not on the camp. I'm not in the camp that just because you build the infrastructure, your stock is going to appreciate. I just can't, I don't see why that's the case. So why I'm not like super into Oracle or even like, even a NeoCloud, I think is fine, but it's not like my go-to. I think this is use case, another example of like, all right, this is appetite for AI beneficiaries. But if AI is going to do what AI is supposed to do, quite frankly, AI beneficiaries should actually be like all companies, right? Like every company should realistically benefit from AI. So if it can, it doesn't have to be just a hardware company. There could potentially be software companies in this cohort too, or security. But I think the companies that are utilization or pricing based on how many calls, queries into their data set by way of AI requests, I think that is the one that's going to happen right here, right now, which would be this, if that happens. But it's at least a good sign of like risk appetite. So
right. Especially because Cloudflare has historically always had an expensive.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely. And I mean, to boot, right? The what was it? So the last earnings call, they shot all over the place, right?
The numbers were good, but the layoffs.
No, the layoffs were great.
I wouldn't say it was great. But
they were great. It was literally the best layoff call I've ever heard. We laid off, I don't know, a quarter of our staff because they were no longer needed. Literally what he said, no apologies. It's like, because we're more efficient as like, through AI. I mean, I didn't have a problem with that. I think that their workers product is good, specifically workers, which goes into Fastly, which goes into Akamai. Dude, I honestly, if the analysts who gave Cloudflare an upgrade even knew what the hell Fastly and Akamai were, they probably would have gotten the same upgrades at the same time. But I think usage-based models that are cloud beneficiaries right now are probably going to get the first bid based on this sentiment that I'm seeing in the chart.
Reddit.
Hey, is this in fact going to be the best pick of the draft? I just don't know. Is it?
I mean, I think it's cheap, but I don't know.
Can we take can we take profit? Like if we get our pump on our stock, can we sell it? Lock it in. 200, man. It's a big psychological level. I don't know. It's right there. It can go to 225 if this is actually over. Call it like 230. This area right here. Then all the bears have left, and that would be super bullish. It's a 365 number. I've had it on here for a long time. Is this your target?
No, my target was 240.
240.
Yeah, but it's more fundamentals based. It's not really.
Okay, so quant. So you're the quant. So fundamentals based 240. Puts you right about here in that area. And if it overprices, yeah, 365, 380 could happen. It could happen.
I feel like that doesn't happen unless we go super risk on, though.
Yeah, no, it doesn't happen unless we go super risk on. But I'm not sure that we don't go super risk on. We're about to find out is all I'm saying.
We're about to find out, right?
Yeah.
UNH.
UNH. On her way to 500s. But yeah, you're closer to, so from, I don't know what lows, this 350 break, you got a little bit, I think you're getting into 465, possibly 475. As long as this holds 420 from here on out, you're okay.
Dude, this is a big move from the lows at 250. It was for a Dow component stock that's not supposed to move that much.
It doesn't move that much. Like it's taken a while. 67% in 100 and something days.
That's 3 months. Not too bad, right?
Yeah, you want to see another one? Are you ready for this? You remember the ticker that I said before we started draft? I was like, I kind of want to pick this from Chris's old stack.
No, I'm forgetting which one.
Axon.
Ah, yes.
Sick, bro. Just
Hockey
gross,
stick here.
dude. So sick, right? And we sent in our server like over here. I'm out, but even like if I had this in the draft, I would be like, guys, I need to sell this now. It's like 65% in 15 days. What am I doing? What are we doing right now?
Well, this fell from 800 to 300 over the course of a year.
Yeah.
And it's gotten a lot of that back just now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Didn't Trump say something about Axon?
Couldn't tell you. But I will tell you that my belief is that if Trump says this stock or that stock, I think that is played out and not working anymore. Yeah.
Trump bought $5 million of Axon.
Yeah. Listen, if the Trump buys or the Trump shoutouts were working, IBM would be all-time highs, would be at all-time highs. All the other stocks that he's mentioned since then have gone down. I think IBM was the first one. A for effort, my guy. But, anyways, yeah, 700 is upper end resistance. You got a little gap to fill. I mean, it could make it. It could make it, but what a wild reversal on this bad boy. Again, interesting. I think it's closer to. I would like to see this pull back, quite frankly, and some of this money go into the AI trade. But yeah, it's not a bear market everywhere. It's just like this one little section, and I don't think that that's over anyways. But,
Bloom Energy.
dude, did you see them take my Generac out today? What are they doing? So dumb. Bloom is not going right now either. So close to support. This is a stop. So this is probably going to get to that 250 right now. This is what I'm saying. Like if it gets there and then it reclaims that this is a heavy setup, like heavy as in toppy. Support is more in like the 175s though. But Bloom is one we're like, I don't know. I mean, they're doing this to Cat, whatever. I think Cat's basically done. Well, I mean,
really?
Yeah. Like, no, done going down.
Oh, done. Oh, I thought you said it's like over.
No, I think it's good. It's a good pullback. Yeah, like this 15, like 1,000 to 9. This could easily pop back up, but we'll see. This is the kind of stuff where I'm like, if that got real heavy, then it's in the 680s. But you're a ways. That's like another month of waiting to see if that's actually going to happen or not.
Right.
My Generac. It's like, dude, okay, Generac's getting deals, guys. Why are we selling this off? Do you think you're not going to get deals on Generac? I feel like that's I don't know. I don't hate that pullback, but I would need to get. We'll see. This one could come in hot. There's not many people know about this, but this company is getting legit deals also. And it's a SMID cap, 13.8 billion.
Broadcom.
That's looks like a buy.
I mean, it's gotten pretty hit since the earnings, but
that looks like
it's in the NVIDIA large cap semi bucket, right?
Well, the chart is exactly like NVIDIA too.
Yeah,
exactly like NVIDIA. So the big fake out for the takeout, come back, retest this general area and your 200-day SMA. I mean, if you get a little round out right there, there's your bowl that would kind of like invert your umbrella. But yeah, this looks like here, pretty sure this is the right measurement I have. Yeah, so this is measured from this low to that high, and literally right in here is that exact spot, 363 to 369, lining up with a 200-day simple. It can come in a little bit more, but like even if it does that and you get like a little breach, I wouldn't mind that. The chart, honestly, on a longer term frame, on this one, it's a little wonky, like it's a little chunky, like it's just.
Well, this is where it should bounce, though, right? Based on
Yeah,
this chart.
it's not. It's where it could bounce. If it's not here, it's like back to the threes, the low threes again in this area. But this is that first, like, all right, you want to see this bounce. Like you have, let me pull this back daily. Yeah, you have all this area that you're kind of essentially retesting. Like all this. But that's where is that three and change. This is about 200. This is about $200 equivalent on NVIDIA. Just about.
Yep. Duolingo.
Oh, we're still going. Duolingo.
We'll do about like, well, I'll say an actual number, not a fake number. We'll do 5 more tickers, then we'll end it out. I think we got through like almost, I'm at 50 tickers right now, guys. So we got through a decent chunk of this.
Tell them about the webinar.
Yeah, we'll do the 5 tickers, then we'll do the webinar, then we'll be out.
No, we're not doing the webinar right now.
No, I know. After the tickers, then you can talk about it. I was surprised Matt took this, but I actually think it was a decent pick, to be honest.
Was this or Axon?
Is this or Axon, right? Because at some point they bottomed, right?
Maybe. We don't know. 120, I think, is what you need to see this hold. That's what I'm looking at. And I think that was this, remember this big old head and shoulders that played out? So the good thing here is that your head and shoulders or whatever is complete. And like that was that neckline. We doubled the area. And reclaiming 126.51 means you're decidedly on the mend. If this can actually hold that. Can he see 200? It's possible. It's possible.
I think Matt picked this as well because he actually uses it every day.
That's what he said.
Yeah.
All right. So I have 150 to 166, which is going to take him right to the 200-day simple. And then, which would be crossing there. And then like the rest of your SMAs will probably coming up. And so that would mean that you would expect some kind of consolidation. And if like after earnings, you do get that and all your SMAs are like really tight and price is trending over 170, then you could get that. And then you have actual expansion. Otherwise, you got to be real careful that you don't get that expansion to the downside. So I have about 160s on this guy, give or take for now. That's what I got.
CEG.
This one's like, dude, you just energy as a whole, actually not super bullish right now. I think that these companies, this is what I'm saying. Like, this is like, what are you guys doing? Is it actually that expensive? I don't think so. Microsoft deal, I think every incremental kilowatt that they charge goes, like their profit margins go up. So yeah, I think this is not making a lot of sense, but I would need my quant to give me a fundamental valuation on this. Right around here, 238 is that retest of this area right here. These areas. This is Talon's actually right here too, same spot. So CEG and Talon. Talon's got the Susquehanna Amazon deal. Same thing. Like, well, definitively, I know Talon. Like they're like CEO. Every incremental piece of energy that we tack onto these contracts, it's like an extra. What do you say? 15 points of profit on the top because of because they're constrained. Just so that's, if you want a quote unquote like bottleneck, like memory bottleneck, glass and energy for sure. glass for all flavors of optics and energy in general would just get more expensive by the watt.
All right, last three. SanDisk.
Oh, that looks
Sounds like
bullish.
it's cautious, so.
That
Oh,
looks
I thought that was
bullish.
bearish.
No. That looks bullish.
Why?
What? I love it when you say that. When I say something like that, you're always like, why? Why? But so here's a prior, like, very small consolidation. This red box was acting as resistance, about 1400. Also very small on the right hand side of my screen. You have like a little bit of a volume shelf. So I mean, a stock, when I zoom out from this breakout, there's not really many pit stops on the chart aside from right here. Combine that with today's single action candle. Try to zoom in. See that? So this is called, it doesn't matter what this is called, but this type of candlestick, this is called a candlestick, is heavy indecision, right? So you can see some, essentially what happened today. This tells me that we opened probably somewhere up here, and intraday it took a huge drawdown, but in the middle of the day, buyers jumped in and started picking this up like right nice and pulled it from sub 15 all the way to close or in the 16 and changes about midday. Oh yeah, early day right here. That's an hour candle. So early morning sell off right here, closing nearly flat on what could have been a very ugly day. So moving forward, what happens here is that you just simply say, all right, well, if we're above today's high or below today's low, one of the two, hands down, we're going up, or hands down, we're going down. Quick comparison. Remember this candle on SPY for Friday? Looks very ugly, right? Just like that, exact same situation. You know, you learn all this stuff in the school also, we teach. Once you're over that prior day high, dude, you're just going higher. And you kind of know that, like, definitively. If it was going below that, like that day's lows, okay, you would have also known in that moment definitively that you're going lower. Then what happens? So literally this is that kind of setup, and you would know that off of SanDisk based on tomorrow's price action, not today. So if this is still, if SanDisk tomorrow is above 1639, you're going to see 1800 probably tomorrow. 1638, 88. You're likely going to see this right into there and probably stop somewhere on that, which is about 18. But that's that setup. I mean, that's you look for this type of setup. I mean, I don't hate it, dude. Oh yeah, over 1690. She's not going down at all anymore. Real close.
Okay. Lunar. Looks like RKLB ASTS, to be honest.
Yeah, actually, oh, this is a space crew. Yeah. I mean, as I say, I have a lot of chop right here. It looks like it's already gone down to where I was talking about RKLB doing that. I mean, we could say the same thing for Redwire too. Space crew is, I think it's just on the back burner right now. I wouldn't want to force it. These will become obvious again when it's time, meaning like they're going to be all over the headlines. They're going to be having 10% green days, and that will be obvious. But until then, I don't want to anticipate. This can come into 1550, but yeah, I would say the same thing about like the red wire. You're all the way back. It could come into 9s. Who knows? All of it. And this is when Amit would ask me, so was all of that fake? Or what do you say? Was it, no, you say, was it justified? And I'd be like, well, I mean, it's all justified, but it's momentum. You got another one?
I have a bunch, but I kind of want you to take the last one. I mean, people have SMCI, they have Soundhound.
No.
Those. OSS got hit today.
No.
We did BlackBerry. Enphase. We talked about Enphase a little bit with T1. Same trajectory.
Yeah, I mean, I would be short, honestly, coming into right now, other than like if I wanted to like do a scalp. Okay, I own this stock. If biotech's good, I already gave you guys Gilead.
People were saying Beam.
No.
ARC-G is having a little bit of a moment.
No. Well, so I'm going that route. So we can look into this one. I
RIVN? No, Revolution.
No, I sent it to our chat. So I don't know. I want to measure. I already own this, so I don't want to say anything.
It was a $40 billion company.
I know. I just want to measure it. We're right there. Well, they cured cancer.
Well, they definitely didn't beat EPS because they're down 25% in Q1, so they have to.
Yeah, I was just
have cured something to get this.
They
stock.
did. They cured pancreatic cancer, but I think this is maybe a little.
Wait, you mean like legit cured or trials that are in?
No. Yeah, trials. But like all the biotech in general, you have to look it up. I don't want to get into it, but I mean, well, I sent it to in the group chat. It's just IBB in general. This is the biotech ETF, right? This is breakout territory. I mean, it's not breakout territory. It is breaking out decisively. All of this consolidation break. That's
also helping the small caps, the IWM, right?
Yep. And this is helping IWM.
Regionals are up 7% the past. I mean, regionals, biotech, software. You're starting to see something other than the semis get a little bit of a move here.
Yeah,
which is not horrible for breath.
No, it's good. It's really good.
Did Columbia lose? Are they done, guys? Columbia, I think they lost. Yeah, they lost. After a penalty shootout defeat to Switzerland. Okay, the Swiss advance.
Oh, I bought Softy. Not the Softy that you guys think about. I bought SoftBank.
You got SoftBank.
Ayo. Actually did that. No, I like this pullback. But I mean, last time I bought it was not that long ago, right around here. I like it. Not options, equity. And I like Intel. And I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But I'm not at a spot where like, this is what we're going to buy right here, right now. Except for the few that I did say already. I thought Akamai was absolutely dumb. Fastly could go. I'm very excited about Qualcomm's potential, but understand it's like very risky to an extent. Oh, Siva Edge. So Edge IP also. Do you know this one?
No, actually, I feel like I've heard of it, but I don't.
What? You know what? This is I'm dropping these 1.9 billion caps on you guys. Sorry.
But okay, so this one's a lot of these have moved. Do you think there's more
Edge.
room to move, or
Yeah. You keep this on. So this is Edge IPs. This is like arm of the Edge, like chip design for all of those little Edge IP devices. So coming in, it's pretty tight. This could get squeezy. I would put this on watch. I do not hate it for continuation. Yeah, I had another one in here. Again, you probably don't know.
do you like ARM at all below 300? Or
I literally just said SoftBank.
okay, oh, so you have to. Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I like SoftBank in general because like they're not going to sell their ARM, they're going to leverage the ARM, and then they're gonna IPO OpenAI, right? Or they're going to be a big part of that. And there's this like I like it big. It's about 50% off the pop here. Just eyeing it 16s. Yeah, anything at sub 20. I was like, all right, I'll take a shot. Softy, my Softy, not Microsoft. SoftBank.
All right. That is it for us today, folks. Thank you all for being here. Jason will have a webinar on Thursday. I'm putting a link in the chat. Jason,
Yes.
explain what it is. And I'll be done.
Oh yeah, so this is like I always talk about this NFP thing. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. Nobody has anything like it. It's like I say it's like my hack to the market, but if you don't understand, like first of all, if you like Technical Tuesday, you'll learn a lot in general. Second of all, we usually give a lot of free stuff away. So depending on how many people register, we shall see. Maybe we give some swag away. I did get some really cool swag in too. I think we got glasses and I think we got socks. But no, so we'll teach the full system. So you guys, not just like, here's the levels, but like, how do you act on it? How does it help you determine like your edge in terms of knowing the direction of the market overall?
What time is the webinar?
If you sell premiums, it's really good. It is
Thursday after the close, or
yeah. So on the link, it's 7:30 p.m. Eastern this Thursday.
Cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, we'll tell you how it was discovered, like why it matters, all that kind of stuff, and how to use it and make money on it. I mean, dude, once you see it, this is one of those things where like really, like once you see it, you cannot unsee it, and you're like, oh my god. But yeah, when I started trading, it was like very early on. I always heard non-farm payroll. This is like, oh, it's the most important number every month, and blah 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 blah. And I was like, but nobody could really articulate to me why that was even a thing, or like how to use it. And I mean, initially, you're over there calculating numbers. All right, well, this many jobs, what does that mean? What is this going to happen? And it's just like, no. We're going to simplify this down to a very specific system and make it super clean, and very easy to react, really, because that's what's important as a trader, is like to know definitively what's happening with the market and have that confidence, like that sense of confidence, like to have a level of confidence that usually you wouldn't have is it's just a big deal, right? And then to see it backed by data, put into a system, one, you learn what a system looks like, and two, like understanding this and being able to have that confidence, like, yeah, you'll start to see what that does for your trading. Cool.
Okay. I love it. That link is in the description. You can check it out. It is free this Thursday.
Yeah, Thursday.
And should be a fun one.
Yep. Which is good. It's this Thursday because we had it last Thursday, the actual report, and we'll be able to move forward. And like, this is exactly what to expect and how to trade it moving forward. Yeah. It's just a webinar, so it'll be private, but I mean, it's free. I just don't want to put it out. I don't want to have 1,000 people jump in and now I'm having to give away a bunch of stuff to whoever. We need some information so we can actually get you stuff.
Wait, so did NFP comes out this Friday for July?
No, it was last Thursday
last
because
Thursday,
it was 4th of July, so we had it last Thursday.
Gotcha.
So moving forward, it kind of like, and we touched on it in the beginning, but I say it all the time, and this is like, I say it, but I don't outline a full system on how to trade around it and how I actually make money with it. This is what we're gonna do. So very cool. Yes.
All right.
I'm loving the shirt, dude.
I need to.
Plus, he gets the collar, the top button every time.
Always.
Yeah.
For those wondering why futures are red, again, the U.S. has officially launched strikes against Iran to retaliate against the strikes they launched this morning against 3 U.S. vessels. So that is why futures are red. And tomorrow we're going to see if the market continues to.
Maybe Axon wasn't a sell. Maybe it's a long. Maybe that's what Palantir's moving. We got more room on Palantir.
It was ready to look. It was looking like it was going to break 140 today, and then as soon as that headline came out, just down the gutter. Which makes me think if the headline wasn't there, today would have been a much better day.
Oh, it's in the cards to see like that 165s, which is still pretty good. But you know, you just gotta be. It's already made a big move, so you gotta be a little careful of like entry for a new trade. But yeah, it's not bad at all.
We might get a Trump 7:30 ceasefire tomorrow to try to. We're gonna see.
No, yeah. So no, it's Thursday. It'll be on Thursday because we stopped doing the Taco Tuesday and we just changed it to Taco Thursday. Just so if you guys didn't catch the memo, that actually had leaked earlier. So the taco is Thursday, which is funny. There's a place called Taco Bravo here. They do Taco Tuesday and Tostada Thursday. Jessica's thing. Tostadas. But yeah,
All right.
Cool. Hopefully I don't go to zero on the stock draft, but you know,
It's too early, dude. It's it's way too early for anyone to.
I know.
But-
Oh, I get a bunch of comments on my picks. I'm like, what's up with my camera here? Ooh. On like my logic and stuff like that. So I had I did a recording and I sent it off to the editor. So if they follow me, I'll drop that probably a week or two, but like the logic on all the picks. I keep getting pinged on that. So for anybody out there that's asking, it'll come out later, but it's on its way.
All right. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Jason's webinar link in the description. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Appreciate it. Adios.
Bye, everybody. Have a good one. See you tomorrow morning.